wild 6 months of baseball, two of the American League's toughest teams now find themselves locked in a tie, forced to play in a do-or-die matchup to secure what has become the most elusive ticket to October. Tampa Bay visits Arlington, putting their ace on the mound in hopes of putting an end to the Rangers season.
We put ourselves in a position to control our own destiny.
While Texas rallies behind their home field advantage to propel themselves into the postseason once again. Tonight, in the next 9 innings, everything is at stake.
It's all hands on deck right now, and there's no tomorrow.
Rays, Rangers, Game 163.
A live wire crowd at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. A tiebreaker in the American League to see who goes into the postseason. It's the Tampa Bay Rays and the Texas Rangers here on TBS. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Arlington, Texas. Brian Anderson along with John Smoltz and Joe Simpson. Great to have you with us today. Great crowd here. Beautiful night for the grand old game. And this is only the 10th time in the history of the game that we've had a one-game tiebreaker. It's the first time since 2009. Many times, John, these are some of the greatest games on the schedule over history. And even though it's a regular season ball game, you get the sense these players know there is playoff pressure.
Absolutely. Anyone who says it's a regular game is kidding themselves. It's the closest thing to a seventh game. The managers have a tough task. There's an expanded roster, so expect a longer game, a lot of pitching changes. For the starting pitchers, you got to come out like a closer. Each inning could be your last. For the position players, patience meets anxiety, and you've got to take a walk. We don't need heroes in this game. We just need to have the winner get the tribute to do this again.
Well, the reason we're here because the Tampa Bay Rays, despite winning 8 of their last 10, Joe, they dropped a couple in Toronto. Meanwhile, the Texas Rangers won 7 straight to force this tiebreaker game. These two teams, they've been in the grinder for the last few days.
Yeah, it's win or go home, but it's been win or go home for these two teams for the past week. Texas had to win out, and they won 7 straight here at home. But that's kind of where the similarities in tonight with these two pitchers. For the Texas Rangers, a 20-game winner last year, and Cy Young Award winner David Price. Power guy, good fastball, cutter, slider, good stuff. And for the Texas Rangers, it's going to be a kid, a 22-year-old kid whose name is Martin Perez. And for him, he's a finesse guy. Great changeup, did great things for him down the stretch, but their season rides on a 22-year-old inexperienced kid against a veteran in Price.
Martin Perez pitching in the biggest game of his career. Sold-out crowd here in Arlington. The winner is headed to Cleveland to enter into the postseason. Stay with us. First pitch coming up next. Just about ready for first pitch tonight. Elimination day in the American League. Somebody's moving on. Somebody is headed to the offseason. 82 degrees. Just a beautiful night for baseball here. The big story today, Nelson Cruz is back. He returns to the Texas Rangers. He is on the active roster and in the starting lineup. And for more on that story, we check in with David Aldridge.
Nelson Cruz is back after his 50-game suspension for his role in the biogenesis scandal. He spent the last couple of weeks in Arizona in the instructional league trying to get his timing down. He told me before the game that he will have to trust his swing despite the time off, and that he's just thankful that he has an opportunity to play in a big game this season. He did not want to talk about the details of his suspension. Now, of course, the Rangers did not have to reinstate him, but they did not hesitate. Manager Ron Washington said of his players, they love Nelson Cruz. We love Nelson Cruz. Nobody condones what he did, but he's one of us. Brian?
All right, David, thanks. And it'll be very interesting tonight to see what kind of bat speed Nelson Cruz has, how he's going to handle this atmosphere. He's been playing down in Arizona in the instructional league with very little crowd, obviously. Did get over 20 at-bats down there, but a big stage for him. There is the skipper of the Rangers, Ron Washington. Desmond Jennings ready to lead off for the Tampa Bay Rays. And as Joe mentioned, a 22-year-old rookie is going to get this start tonight for the Rangers. Martin Perez a change-up specialist, John, but a guy that Ron Washington feels is built for the big stage.
Yeah, he's definitely turned the corner. He made a change second half of the year. He's been lights out. He pitches off his fastball. He's got a four-seamer and a sinker, and then, of course, that change-up when he's effective. But look for Ron Washington to really gauge his young pitchers' maturity and patience. That's going to be huge because the leash is going to be short if he's not throwing strikes.
Desmond Jennings in the starting lineup tonight. He's been nursing a hamstring injury. Joe Madden feels like he's good to go, and he makes his first start in over a week. And first ball swinging. That's a base hit down the left field line. And Jennings on his way to second. The throw is in time. And with a bang, we start this tiebreaker tonight.
He hasn't made a start since September 22nd. He came out early today, Desmond Jennings, to test his leg. This is a double any other time of the year for him, but he just doesn't have his legs under him yet, guys. And a good throw from left field by Gentry to nail it, and they've got good arms in this Texas outfield.
Well, again, I talked about aggression meeting patience. You want to try to make something happen for your team. That was probably better served to stay there, especially with the condition of his hamstring. He wanted something electrifying to happen at second, and it electrified the Texas crowd.
Gentry making a perfect throw. And one gone after the single, and the outfield assist by Gentry brings up Will Myers, talented 22-year-old. He's been their best run producer since he was called up in June. Tampa Bay has been on the attack early over these last 10 days or so. They scored 6 runs in the first inning yesterday against the Toronto Blue Jays. Had to hang on to win the ball game, but they got out to a fast start. And while they are typically a patient ball club, first time through the batting order, Joe Madden saying they want to be aggressive against Martin Perez. Everybody's dealing with the nerves here. And oh, by the way, we're playing regular season rules here tonight, so that means September rules, which means expanded rosters. Each club has 37 players available tonight as Myers draws the walk. And let's take you back to the first play of the game. These three outfielders for Texas are all center fielder types, and they all have strong throws, strong arms. Look at that one hop, perfect throw. And again, Jennings nursing a bad hamstring. I'm sure he's mentally used to making that into second base easily, not with a bad hammy. That'll bring up Ben Zobrist, versatile utility man who starts at second base tonight, a switch hitter. So after a 4-pitch walk, Perez deals him strike one. You see the numbers for Zobrist, a very patient hitter at the plate. He leads this Tampa Bay ball club in walks. An all-star this season. Twice he's been an all-star. And a bouncing ball through, a base hit for Zobrist. So the Rays come out swinging, 2 hits and a walk. 2 on now with 1 away for Evan Longoria, the Rays cleanup hitter.
Well, the Rays don't mind facing left-handed hitters. Second in the league in average at 269. And the one thing that the Rangers have done a good job, though, as a pitching staff, is with runners in scoring position, they have been stingy. So you've got a couple battles going on, a team that likes to run versus a team that doesn't throw out very many runs when we see the reverse happen with the Rangers on offense. It'll be interesting to see the patience again of Perez when runners are in scoring position early on in the first inning.
2 out there quickly against Perez. Here is Longoria. 86 runs batted in.
The hardest thing for a young pitcher or any pitcher in this type situation is thinking about what ifs. You've really got to lock in about the one hitter. You cannot avoid, and you try to avoid the crooked number. 1 run here is no big deal. But if you start worrying about what could happen in the big inning, then that's more than likely what's going to happen. Each pitch has got to have more emphasis and more concentration.
And Longoria aggressively after Perez. Ball and a strike.
Ron Washington told us before the game that he will have his eyes all over Martin Perez. If he's pitching scared, if he's afraid to be aggressive in the zone, and if he's missing and not throwing strikes, he's not going to be out there long. As John said, it'll be a short leash.
Now these two ball clubs, no stranger to the pressure moments against each other. The Rangers knocking the Rays out of the postseason in back-to-back years, 2010 and 2011. Lineup decisions for Joe Madden. And the big note in this lineup is Delman Young in there, making a 6th consecutive start as a designated hitter. Rodriguez is in left with Loney at first. Escobar, one of the top defenders in the league, is the shortstop, and Jose Molina does the catching for Tampa Bay. Ball and 2 strikes on Longoria. And a drive to right, a base hit. Myers got a late start, and he'll have to hold up. Now the bases are loaded for the Rays on 3 hits and a walk. And now how big is that play at second base looking at this point?
Well, it's huge, and not getting a good read right there from Myers is also huge. You got Maddox coming out. We look at the replay. You got to know where the second baseman is, and this ball is well in the gap where he didn't get the read, Joe. So now the best thing is to go one station.
Well, I think he probably did the right thing, John, given that Desmond already got thrown out at second to start this ball game for him. He was playing it safe. He's a rookie, and you want to make sure it got through there, not run into a double play. And they're getting some good swings off of Perez here so far. He's left some pitches in the middle of the zone.
If I'm Mike Maddox, the one thing I'm saying here, first pitch, be careful. Young loves to swing. They've hit 34 home runs on first pitch. That's second in the league Tampa has. So the first pitch sets up the next pitch, and you just got to know when a guy's aggressive. Maybe you could steal a strike out of the zone because he wants to go after it.
Perez has not retired a batter yet. The out was at second. Bases loaded for Delman Young. Back with the Rays. His original team has plenty of postseason experience. Had a great postseason in 2011 while a member of the Detroit Tigers. And big power to the opposite field, which is where the jet stream is in this ballpark. And Perez pumps a strike in there. And a generous call from the home plate umpire, Jeff Kellogg.
Likewise, John, if he's going to expand his zone a little bit to try to get greedy and drive these runs in, if he gets after a bad pitch, he might get a double play ball.
Well, that first pitch really could set the tone, getting it inside against an aggressive hitter who thinks it's a ball, then opens up the away part of the plate. Against an aggressive hitter, you don't have to be so concerned about what the count is because you know he wants to swing.
And Young swings, fly ball, center field deep. Ball really traveling. And it's run down by Martin, but the Rays will put the first tally on the board tonight. Sacrifice fly and an RBI by Delman Young scores Myers, and the Rays do strike first in the first inning.
To settle your nerves as a pitcher, getting it out, even though a run scores, is not the end of the world. You want to avoid the big inning. So he's got a chance to limit the damage to just one, and I guarantee you if he gets his offense on the field with only one run after all the confusion on the bases, he will have done his job here in the first inning.
It's kind of what Tampa Bay did yesterday up in Toronto. They scored a bunch of runs early and made it stand up.
Now to put runners at the corners now with 2 away. Sean Rodriguez, the Rays left fielder. We're just underway here in Arlington. Great to have you with us on this tiebreaker Monday in Texas. A lot of activity on the bases early. 3 hits, a walk. But Perez has a chance to get out of it with just the 1 run.
Good hard break on this slider. It's a little bit inside. He didn't get the hitter to bite on it. That'll be an effective pitch later in the game if he's continued to throw strikes with his fastball and make them aware of it.
And Rodriguez doesn't bite on the breaking ball down and in. Sean Rodriguez, a .249 hitter this year, playing all over, can play the infield, has become a very good outfielder, and he gets the call in left with the left-hander on the mound tonight. Joe Madden, the mad scientist, mixing and matching his lineup. Very versatile players throughout for the most part.
Best changeup he's thrown this inning.
A little bit firm. You saw the miles per hour similar to the slider. That's aggression. That's the ability to not have, you let the emotion take care of it. If he pitches longer in the game, that change of speed will be a little bit better. It's just natural that you're going to be a little bit amped up in an environment like this.
And he wants it again. The changeup coming. 2-2 and a swing and a miss. Pierzynski puts the tag on him to secure the strikeout. The inning is over and Perez escapes with just one run allowed in the first. Rangers today. Lineup issued by Ron Washington with Kinsler at the top. Elvis Andrus bats second. Alex Rios coming over from the White Sox. He's in right. Adrian Beltre bats cleanup with Pierzynski in the 5-hole. Nelson Cruz returning. First game since August 4th. Mitch Moreland to follow at first base. Craig Gentry already an assist tonight. And Leonis Martin, the speedy center fielder, is batting ninth. And on the mound, it's the reigning Cy Young Award winner, John, David Price.
Yeah, David Price, if he can still be getting better, he is. He's learning, and his progression and curve of learning has been real good. Of course, spent some time on the DL. He's dominated left-handers, a 195 batting average, right-handers 271. Lack of run support is why his 9-8 average. Again, tonight will be, can he be patient and continue to throw strikes? This guy does not walk anybody, and he's got 96 plus.
First batter, Ian Kinsler, and the first pitch from Price upstairs for ball one. David Price's command is statistically impressive as well. 5.65 strikeout to walk ratio. And he's the best in the American League in that category. The fewest walks per 9 innings, the best in the American League.
He had 10 starts this year without a walk.
And for an aggressive hitting Texas Rangers ball club, Price could be the guy that could go quickly if his stuff is on his A game. Rays are hoping that their ace can send them to Cleveland on Wednesday.
You look, it looks like he's pitching out of the stretch. He's not. He's simplified his windup by really almost a two-step approach. It looks like he's in the stretch there. He's going to take a tiny little step forward and then get in that position to pitch. Because he's so big and he has such downward leverage, he can get away with it. Most guys would love to create more of a low body work. He's just strong enough to do it.
Kinsler in a full count. Price missed the Rangers the last time these two teams matched up in September. They split a 4-game series in mid-September. And the payoff pitch. Kinsler takes a called strike 3. Down he goes. And Price begins his night with a strikeout.
Well, this is just a firm fastball that holds its plane. You can see the outer part of the plate. You see where the dot is. Maybe Kinsler just gave up on it a little too soon and it froze him. And of course, he was trying to play it off and maybe get the walk, but he did not get that call.
Now Price, a 20-game winner last year. He won the Cy Young Award. Had an ERA of 2.56. He led the American League in wins and earned run average. But as John mentioned, he has spent some time on the disabled list this season. Had a triceps injury which knocked him out for about 6 weeks. So tonight he goes after his 10th victory. And again, these statistics count to the regular season despite being a 163rd game on the schedule. Elvis Andrus.
What you're going to see is a 4-seamer, 2-seamer, and a changeup that he throws. Right now, he has not located his changeup. That'll come with time. The longer the game goes, the more changeup he throws and breaking pitches. But he's a firm fastball guy with a good breaking ball and changeup.
Well, just missing. Andrus with a good eye and a count at 3-0. Top 5 in the batting order for Ron Washington rarely changed. Kinsler, Andrus, Rios, Beltre and Pierzynski. But now that Nelson Cruz is back, Washington's lineup has a lot more depth and a big bat hitting in the 6th spot tonight as Andrews draws the walk. And now, Joe, this is what you mentioned in the open, where the Rangers, when they are at their best, their running game is in play, and they feel like they can steal bases against Price.
Well, they were second in the major leagues in stolen bases this year, second only to Kansas City. And on the flip side of that, the Rays were not very good at holding runners and throwing out base stealers. They had the 3rd worst percentage in baseball. And despite the fact that it's a lefty on the mound, Ron Washington's not going to slow anybody down. It's just like everybody's got a green light when they think they get a good jump.
Alex Rios at the plate for Texas.
Thing as a left-handed pitcher, if you don't have a great move like a Andy Pettitte, you don't want to show it that often, so you have to vary your times. You have to be quick one time, hold one time, make the batter call timeout. If you've got a potential base stealer, you've got to disrupt his time and not take away from your ability to throw a good pitch to the hitter at the plate as well.
Look at this lead Andrews has already, well, before he even came set. It's almost like he's trying to lure him into a throw so he can see his move a little bit, but Andrews is getting out there quickly.
Andrews with 41 steals at this point. Rios has been patient, maybe trying to let him run. Now it's in a 1-1 count, and that one misses away.
Well, guys, we were looking at the numbers for David Price against Texas in his career, and they're not very good. 1-4 with an ERA of almost 6. It's even worse than that in the postseason. But there are guys up and down this Rangers lineup that have excellent numbers against him. I'm sure that kind of played in his head a little bit today before this big start.
Alex Rios is one of them. 9 for 26 lifetime against David Price. Rios with a couple of home runs against him as well. It's a big pickup for Texas. Once Cruz was suspended, the Rangers made the deal with the White Sox on August 9th to acquire Rios, and he is the American League Player of the Week. He and James Loney share that award this week. And during that 7-game winning streak for Texas, Rios with 8 runs batted in. He hit for the cycle last Monday. So not only has he been a big presence in the 3-hole in the batting order, but he's been hot lately coming into this tiebreaker.
Andrews has extended his lead a little bit.
And a close play, and they got him. Andrews picked off.
It's a 3rd different move, John. He had gone with a leg kick and step over, then just kind of a slide step and throw over, and this was a step off.
Well,
the block.
Loney, yeah, that's exactly what he did, and I've always been a fan. If you're going to dive in head first, you should be able to do that more often. Loney knows what kind of lead he's got, how long it takes to get back, and he never gets back to the bag. Great job.
Yeah, so both clubs getting runners eliminated on the base paths in the first inning. That wipes the bases clean. Back in the windup, and Rios bounces to short. And Escobar, the best in the business so far in the American League, makes the play to end the inning. 1-0 Rays. A pick off at first. We're headed to the second. There 3 times, a couple of trips to the World Series. Yu Darvish, he started yesterday, struck out 8, led the majors in that category. Beltre, another 30-homer year, his 3rd straight. Nelson Cruz, he's back tonight, suspended his last game August 4th. He left with 27 home runs. And the Rangers and the Rays off and running tonight in this tiebreaker matchup on TBS. Martin Perez returns to the mound and survived a 3-hit, 1-walk inning, giving up just the 1 run in the first. James Loney leaning off.
What a year James Loney has had for the Rays. You know they've got to make changes financially to find players to play. Only the best road batting average at .355 this year in the bigs.
And the former Dodger has found a home, and he'll be a free agent at season's end. And for the first time in his career, he won the Player of the Week award in the American League. Hit .435 during this week. And 6 extra base hits. The lefty on lefty matchup. But Madden likes Loney against lefties. He really likes him defensively, and it's one of the reasons why the Rays have been the second best defensive team in the American League, next to the Baltimore Orioles.
What a bargain Loney was, too.
And a bouncer out to Kinsler. And the first out for Martin Perez here in the second.
Played last year not only with the Dodgers but with the Red Sox, and the Rays signed him for a couple $1 million and loaded with incentives, so that was a bargain with the return they got from James Loney this year.
Seeing him in the clubhouse today, he reminded me. He says, "Hey, you know who I got my first career hit off of?" I said, "Let me guess." Me. Yeah.
It's the only one you gave up.
I gave up 1,000 of them, it seemed like.
Now, when you stay around as long as you do, what kind of hit was it? Did he tell you?
Just a regular. I just had to throw it back.
It's like a flare single.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter in the scorebook.
Here's Yunel Escobar. Now here's another great story. And speaking of bargain basement deals, the Rays went out and were able to acquire Escobar. Actually got him from the Marlins. Went from the Braves to the Blue Jays. Was only a Marlin on paper. They flipped him quickly to the Tampa Bay Rays. And Joe, you certainly have seen a lot of Escobar from his days in Atlanta. And Joe Madden talked about his great play on the field, his great defense. Sometimes it does come with some baggage, some flair, and Joe Madden made no bones about it. He said, "I like the touchdown celebrations. Let him be who he wants to be."
He said as long as he's not embarrassing someone from the other team, and there have been a couple of 3 of those instances where he's had to talk to him, but otherwise very pleased with Yunel and the way he's played.
And a swing and a miss, and Martin Perez strikes him out. So a good start to this second inning for Perez, and picks up his second K.
You see the touch on that a lot better, breaking away the change up. AJ just hit him in a bad spot. Then a hit.
Eject him out.
Eject him out.
So 2 up, 2 down. And here is Jose Molina. Molina batting in the 9th spot in the order for the Rays.
He's had a rough month. 196 average and 0 for his last 9.
Sharing time with Jose Lobaton behind the plate. Madden liked the experience. He liked the right-handed bat. Molina has a World Series ring from the 09 Yankees. There's Lobaton. Quickly 0-2.
Telling you, that first inning did a lot for the confidence of Perez. I mean, if you look at that inning, he could have easily given up 2 or 3 runs. But his ability to stay focused and calm and get out of it with 1 run, you could see the energy's back in his body. 1 run's no big deal. See if he can pitch his team into more zeros.
Well, his fastball's no slouch either. He can ramp it up to about 94 at times. So it's not like he's just a change-up slider guy.
Slow roller. Beltre has plenty of time with Molina running, and that will retire the side. 14th pitch inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Rays in the second. Season returns to TBS tomorrow night with the National League wild card. The Pirates host the Cincinnati Reds in a do-or-die showdown. The winner moves on. The loser headed home. Coverage begins tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern on TBS. Ernie Johnson, Ron Darling, Cal Ripken Jr. and Craig Sager. Martin Perez with a 1-2-3 inning. And I'm sure the Rangers hoping he settles into this game after some trouble in the first. And David Price, first offering to Beltre, is high and tight. It'll be Beltre, Pierzynski, and Nelson Cruz due up in the second against the former Cy Young Award winner.
John, against a team that has pretty much owned you and in a big spot like tonight, doesn't he have to establish inside to these right-handed hitters especially?
I would think so. Texas, a good fastball hitting team. Of course, David Price primarily throws fastball, cutter, or sinker, so any form of those three fastballs. But I'm sure with the film, he's looked at every angle he can to see what he can do different. Early on, he's definitely tried to establish into certain right-handers to try to get that two-seamer away. But I think whenever you've had lack of success, you don't try to change everything. You just try to establish what you want in the beginning of the game and make them adjust to you. Easier said than done.
Now Price, we talked about his great command so far in this game, and it's early, but 17 pitches and only 6 strikes. Got the pick off at first base. He walked Andrews on 4 straight, immediately wiped him out with a pick off. As Beltre down the right field line, that is down and to the wall. And Beltre with that bad hamstring is lumbering into second base with a leadoff double.
He's limping a lot more than Jennings. He injured his leg yesterday, but stayed in the game and actually hit a home run later in the game. Well, watch this. Ron Washington said late in the ball game, if a similar situation presents itself as what he just did, he'll have to pinch run for him if it's a meaningful run.
That's significant in a couple ways. Certainly base hits to center, right, or left is not an automatic, and he said he's one of the toughest guys he's ever been around. And early in the game, to your point, Joe, they're going to deal with his lack of ability to run. Later, they'll deal with it, make the adjustments.
So here is A.J. Pierzynski, and the Rangers threatening to tie it up here. Now, yesterday, the Rangers, with a comeback win over the Los Angeles Angels, their 7th consecutive win, but it did come at a price. As Giovanni Soto went into right center field, Beltre scored the run that put Texas ahead of the 6th inning, but immediately started clutching at his hamstring. And I guess the big question is, the way he's limping there, was that for protection or for pain? We'll see.
Right, I think at this stage, with all the adrenaline you've got in you when you get an extra base hit in such a meaningful game, it's got to be pain. Nothing would hold you back otherwise.
Yet to see a real big breaking ball away from the left-hander. David Price owns left-handers from a batting average against. Big opposing figure, tough on left-handers.
Nelson Cruz waiting on deck. He'll hit next. And it'll be interesting to hear the reaction from this crowd when Cruz steps up to the plate for the first time since August 4th. First-year Ranger A.J. Pierzynski. One ball, 2 strikes. That'll slice into the seats. A foul ball. Pierzynski had another nice year. He's an offense-first catcher. Always has been, but such a leader behind the plate as well. And Ron Washington always has him in the lineup. He's either going to DH or he's going to catch. He's one of his veterans that gets the playing time and gets his at-bats. 17 homers, 70 runs batted in.
And he'll swing at anything.
David Price only giving up 2 home runs to left-handers this year. 195 batting average. AJ doesn't have to get a hit to do his job right here. Take what the pitcher gives you, get the runner over to third. I'm sure he's been trying to hook it as best he can to the right side, find that pitch, and make it easier for Beltre from third to try and score. Especially in a defensive count, 0-2. You just got to be up there protecting as much as you can.
Leadoff double by Beltre. He's at second. And the 1-2, and Pierzynski just got a piece.
These are the situations where you talked to me about earlier about, is this just another regular season game? Well, it's not. We know it's not. But in a regular season game, you may not be as concerned as you are in this situation. If you get them over, you get them over. You take more chances in a regular season game. I talked about being a closer each inning, and a closer would do things differently in these situations. So that's what a starter's mindset's got to be. That makes it more difficult to get through 8 innings, obviously.
And a called strike 3, and Pierzynski barking at home plate umpire Jeff Kellogg. As Price comes up with a big K for the first out.
I'm a pitcher, Joe, and I admit that one's on the plate.
Yeah, that one wasn't even close.
Those aren't boos, those are cruises. So they're happy to have him back here at the ballpark in Arlington. And Cruz steps up in a big spot early in his first at bat.
Whether you agree with it or not, he was allowed to go to an Arizona Instruction League and get about 27 at bats, I think it was, 9 hits, homer, couple of doubles in preparation for this.
Cruz has been working out with the team. A 50-game suspension, violation of Major League Baseball's drug policy, performance-enhancing drug policy, and Cruz returns, and Ron Washington saying he served his time. He's one of us. We welcome him back with open arms, and he does give the Rangers a big right-handed bat in the middle of that lineup. I guess the big question is, what kind of player will he be? Not just the fact he missed 50 Major League games, that's tough enough to come back from, but to enter into a postseason atmosphere. And then you have the notion of what kind of player was he on performance-enhancing drugs compared to what he'll be for this run today. And he was late on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
There's not too many David Prices down in Arizona right now, I can tell you that.
Exactly, and I thought the first pitch was a perfect pitch to feed off the aggressiveness of Cruz. He threw him a changeup, looked like a fastball, and he swung at it looking like it was a fastball. So pitch recognition, I thought that set up the at-bat, because it would be real easy to aggressively go after him in his first swing, produce a hit for this team, and this place would go nuts.
Cruz has good numbers lifetime against David Price. He's 9 for 21 career with 3 homers against him. That includes postseason numbers. And the 1-2, and Price misses upstairs.
So far, David Price has been pretty patient. Even though he hasn't pounded the strike zone, he's moving the ball in and out and really trying to make the Texas hitters aware that it's not just going to be one way that he's attacking you.
Beltran second with a leadoff double. And the 2-2, and Cruz late again. And Price continues to pound him with the fastball.
One of his best fastballs so far, 96, and on his hands. I think that's a good plan, John, when the guy's just coming back, is hard in, soft away, because of the problem with getting your timing back as a hitter.
And they may have changed their game plan after the first pitch changeup. It's really been all hard because he has not been able to get around on the fastball. I still think at some point you can go back to that changeup down and get him to swing over the top of it, but the one thing they may have in their mind is that may have actually speed up his bat if not thrown properly.
Was some discussion about Cruz maybe playing left field, but he's in there as the designated hitter tonight. And Price, another fastball, and it's caught at first by Loney. And therein lies what the Rays are all about this year defensively. Loney covers so much ground. A hand for Nelson Cruz on his way out as he lines out for the second out of the inning, Joe.
Here's our pitch sequence to Cruz. There's that off-speed pitch, John. Hard in, fought it off. Hard in off the plate. Hard in again. And he was late on the line drive, but he just got a little bit better, a little bit quicker. Nice play by Loney.
So with 2 away, here is Mitch Moreland. And you'll notice a number of left-handers in the lineup for Ron Washington tonight against Price. Moreland, a very streaky hitter. He's one of 3 lefties in the starting lineup. Batting average low at .231, but 23 homers, 60 runs batted in. And a superb defender at first base in his own right. Mitch Moreland has had some big moments in pressure-packed games. Those 2 runs through the postseason for the Rangers through the World Series. And Moreland in the air, left center. Rodriguez will call and catch, and David Price works around a leadoff double by Adrian Beltre. 2 in the books. We head to the 3rd. As we go to the 3rd inning, who does Cal Ripken Jr. think will win the AL and NL MVP award? You can watch it all new Behind the Mic, powered by Ford, at BleacherReport.com/Behind the Mic to find out. Cal will be in action tomorrow. The Pirates and the Reds, National League wild card game tomorrow from beautiful PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Back to the top of the order, Martin Perez dealing a strike to Desmond Jennings. A rocky start for Perez. First 4 batters reached, including Jennings, who singled and then was thrown out trying to extend it into a double. Ray scored first tonight. David Price stranding a runner at second, a leadoff double by Beltre in this do-or-die night in the American League. The winner headed to Cleveland to match up against the Indians in the American League wildcard game on Wednesday.
Always intrigued when a catcher is at the plate and doesn't like a call. He's got his eyes looking for his pitcher to see if he gets that call in return, because there's always a portion of the plate that has an extra 2 inches. It's inevitable. You see where the umpire sets up inside on a right-hander, so he's guessing away. So inside, he's got a better chance to see that pitch.
And Brzezinski rung up on a called strike 3 just about in that spot in the 2nd inning. And he barked a little. Also, the difference in a game like this, you might not see that during the regular season this early, as Jennings draws the walk. Now, normally he would be an instant threat to try to steal a base, but doubtful with the hamstring injury he's dealt with. And really, Joe, the Rays aren't running like they used to, minus Elliott Johnson and B.J. Upton.
Yeah, this is a weapon of theirs that they really lost if he can't run, if he can't steal, because they only have 2 guys in double figures in stolen bases, and Jennings has by far the most with 20 on the year. But if he can't steal, they already are low on the stolen base totem pole this year compared to previous year. Previous 10 years as a team, they stole 130 or more bases. This year is a total for the team 72. And you're right, B.J. Upton and Elliott Johnson, key parts of that.
Here is a American League Rookie of the Year matchup with Perez and Will Myers. And both will be in the hunt for that award. Myers was picked up from Kansas City in the James Shields Wade Davis trade. That worked out very well for the Royals. They didn't make it to the postseason, but much improvement there. And Myers has been their best run producer since he arrived. He is a banger, has big power. If you combine his numbers from the minor leagues and the major leagues this year with the Rays, has 20+ homers and over 100 runs batted in.
Well, whatever you do as a starting pitcher, you don't want to throw a high fastball. That seems to be what he crushes. He's done a nice job mixing it up in this at bat so far.
And a swing and a miss. Took something off, and that signature pitch for Martin Perez. He strikes out Myers. And his third K.
Well, what makes this so effective is the arm action's the same as a fastball. It comes out looking like a fastball and then just fades away from a right-hander. When that arm action is as good as that, and he repeats his delivery as good as he does as a young pitcher, that's why his success rate has matured as a pitcher in the second half. Fastball command, change up off the fastball.
There's Ben Zobrist. Well, Mike Maddox was raving about the mechanics of Martin Perez, and when I look at Martin Perez, maybe it's because he's Venezuelan, but it reminds me so much of Johan Santana. He's got that classic Santana delivery with the great Santana changeup back in his prime. And that's what the Rangers feel like he could be at some point.
And apparently Santana's a big idol of Martin Perez too. Similar build, 6 feet, 190.
Perez falling behind the very patient Ben Zobrist, who singled his last time up, singled to left. And that one's high in the air to right field for Rios. And there is out number 2. The Boys and Girls Clubs of America is an official charity of Major League Baseball, reaching more than 4 million kids worldwide. Visit MLBcommunity.org to learn how you can help. Game 163 of the season. These two with identical records after the slated schedule of 162. Yesterday, the Rays beat the Blue Jays. Rangers won here at the ballpark in Arlington, sweeping the Angels. That was a 4-game sweep. And it was another comeback win for Texas as Longoria into right center field. That ball's got some carry. Back is Martin at the wall, and it's gone. Evan Longoria, a 2-run homer. Up into the jet stream here in Arlington, and Longoria gives the Rays a 3-0 lead.
Well, the story is between the 377 and the gap and the 407 in deep right center, the ball just flies out of here. And Longoria went down and got a low pitch. A little bit of an inside-out swing, and it got up high and carried out of here.
And Delman Young swinging away at the first pitch. Popped him up in the infield, and this will retire the side. But Evan Longoria, he's done some pretty magical things in the final games of the season. 2-run shot here in the third. To a fast start, they lead 3-0 as Evan Longoria quiets down this sellout crowd at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. A 2-run homer in the third. Game 163 of the year, and the Rays out early, 3-0. Trying to punch their ticket to Cleveland for the American League wildcard game on Wednesday. And Martin Perez survived the first despite giving up 3 hits and a walk. Gave up just 1 run. But on the first pitch, Longoria, a 2-run shot. And now the Rangers playing catch up against David Price, the Rays ace. Craig Gentry leads off. He'll be followed by Leonis Martin. And then the Rangers go back to the top of the order to Ian Kinsler.
If you're David Price and you love the fact that your team rewarded you with a 3-run lead, obviously putting up a 0 here is the most important thing. But the Rangers, if you haven't followed them, 50 come from behind wins. This team is relentless. It plays off of their manager's emotion. That doesn't feel too good right there.
That's the old bowling ball right off the top of the foot.
Now those 50 comeback wins by the Rangers, a franchise record. It also led all of baseball this year. They had their 50th yesterday against the Angels. In a 3-0 hole with David Price on the mound. And David Price has a few demons to exercise as well with the Texas Rangers. He's 1-7 career against Texas in 11 starts, has an ERA up over 5.5. And in this ballpark, in 4 career starts, his earned run average is over 10.
One thing he's done from time to time early in this game, the only hiccup I can see is he rushing a little bit, getting underneath his fastball. David Price has one of those fastballs when it's low, it stays low. It's hard to pick up, but when he gets underneath it a little bit, he's missing away, and of course that changeup has the same effect. It floats underneath.
Gentry, a shot, and it's off the glove of Escobar and in the left, a base hit. Gentry still limping after that foul ball off of his foot. The speedster is aboard to start this 3rd inning, and the Rangers with their 2nd hit.
Too much of the plate right down the middle. Too hot for Escobar to handle. Off to the side. You know, Escobar, I think it's 3 errors since the end of May. He's been outstanding defensively for Tampa Bay.
Gentry stays hot his last 10, hitting over 470. So he's continued his good play, as has the Rangers down the stretch.
Puts a very fast runner aboard with Leonys Martin at the plate. Batting in the 9 spot for the Rangers. Shows bunt, takes a strike. A high strike called by Jeff Kellogg.
Right at the top of the zone.
A 6-man umpiring crew tonight, which is what you would see in the postseason. Kellogg saw it as strike 1, and he's the only one that matters. Yeah, Martin chased one that time. Price goes a little bit higher, and now it's 0-2.
We already saw Andrews get picked off in the 1st inning. One of the things Ron Washington told us today is that he's told his players to stay aggressive. If you get thrown out trying to steal or trying to go 1st or 3rd, then get up, get off the field, and then go do it again and try again. I don't know if that foul ball will slow Gentry down or not, but he likes to be aggressive and stay aggressive, even down, in this case, 3-0.
There he goes, and a bouncing ball to 3rd. Long throw for Longoria, just gets the speedy Martin for the 1st out. So Gentry does advance to 2nd. Martin grounds out.
I'm sure Gentry was expecting an off-speed pitch here. That's why he took off, but it was a fastball that almost got by him. And with his speed, he made this closer than most people would have.
Obviously his foot's okay. He feels like it was good enough to run.
Back to the top of the Rangers order now, and Ian Kinsler. Price struck him out looking in the 1st inning. He got him on a 3-2 pitch. It's a much different Texas Rangers offense than we've seen in the postseason the last few years. Not necessarily the big bangers in there. As Kinsler, a little flare, and that's going to fall, a base hit, and here comes Gentry, and he'll score.
This is a great read by Gentry. I mean, he takes off at the crack of the bat. Potential chance to get a double play, a ball up that he jams on him. Never a doubt right there after he took off. Easy way to score once he made that break.
You know, and what you'd like about that is that it wasn't just a wild go. I mean, he was taking a look and read it. So when you're talking about this aggression from the Rangers base runners, just not wild, crazy stuff. They know what they're doing.
And it doesn't just show up in stolen bases either. Great read by Gentry. He scores the first Rangers run. RBI for Kinsler. And here is Elvis Andrus. Price is getting some mileage out of the high fastball strike thus far.
And again, that's a little bit getting underneath, not downhill as much. He's down in the zone. He'll get swings up because guys don't want to get beat with that firm fastball.
Gentry with the single. Hot smash past Escobar. Went to second on the ground ball, scored on the base hit by Kinsler. No balls and a strike on Andrews, and Price will check on him again. Kinsler has slowed a step or two, but he still will run if given the opportunity. And I'm guessing, Joe, just kind of deciphering what Ron Washington was saying, but the Rangers feel like they can run on David Price. And if you start to do the math, the way it takes him to unload to the plate, the fact that you've got Molina behind the plate, obviously the times that Price is turning in, how quick he is to home plate or his move to first base, they've got something on him where they feel like they can run a little bit.
He's been changing up his moves to first, as John recommended in the first inning, but his move to the plate, there's no slide step. It's all a high leg kick. And if the Rangers guess right, read right, they'll get a good jump.
Andrews out in front, pops it up. Foul territory. Longoria, with help from his teammates, will make the catch. Second out of the inning. And Price fooled him on that pitch. Two outs with Kinsler at first. That'll bring up Alex Rios now.
I know we keep saying this is game 163. It's not a postseason game, but for these two teams, it essentially is. And you go back to last inning, the leadoff double by Beltre. He never got past second base. Those are the types of situations that, especially in postseason, become so huge. Like you've said so many times before, John, a walk is a rally in the postseason. A leadoff double, and you don't get him over and get him in, that really hurts.
Two gone for Rios, who bounced out his first time up. Now the Rangers on this great run to finish the season with 7 straight wins. As Rios is wanting some strike zone explanation, and Washington barking as well.
Well, I'm just telling you, if David Price keeps getting those kind of pitches, it's going to be a long day for Texas, because it's hard enough to hit 96 down. But you give him that chest kind of letter strike, he can do whatever he wants. He's expanded the zone in the strike zone.
Pitch Tracks has it as a strike. Boy, top corner to bottom corner, and David Price is ahead of Rios 0-2.
Now Rios in theory is not going to have too much problems with that being a strike if the other one isn't. But once the other one is, right, then you start seeing that variance is too big. And now you're talking about a Cy Young Award winner. It looks like the plate's a little bit bigger than it is.
Typical line is you can't give him both.
Exactly.
Well, we'll see what he does with him here. He's got him 0-2. And a check on Kinsler. Price is coming off a win. He beat the Yankees. 7 innings against New York. He struck out 8 in that ball game. That was his first win in about a month. Hadn't won since August 24th. That was the day the Rays officially eliminated the Yankees from the postseason. 7 innings, 2 earned runs allowed. He didn't walk a batter in his last start. Kinsler starts, stops, and now they've got him picked off. And David Price gets another one. Officially, it'll go down as a caught stealing, but the Rangers have gotten 2 runners eliminated from the base paths. On the board, got a run in the third on a Kinsler RBI single. 3-1 Rays. Say, be the first to know the latest news on all your teams with Bleacher Report's Team Stream app. Stay one step ahead. Check out Team Stream on your phone's app store today. Evan Longoria with a 2-run homer in the third. Came with 2 outs. And the Rays in the lead 3-1 as we go to the fourth. Martin Perez, the young 22-year-old Venezuelan, back at it, facing Sean Rodriguez. Struck him out in the first inning. Perez with 3 Ks thus far. Sean Rodriguez, a .249 hitter this year, son of a professional baseball manager, Johnny Rodriguez. His father managing in the St. Louis Cardinals minor league system. Rays got him from the Angels, and a versatile player. He would be the next Ben Zobrist for Joe Madden. Gives him flexibility to use him in the infield or the outfield. Can hit anywhere in the order. As you see, Alexi Ogando loosening for Texas.
They signed another guy, Kelly Johnson, this year, who's a similar type player, Ryan.
A swing and a miss. Perez strikes him out. So strikeout number 4. It's the second time he's gotten Rodriguez.
And that one was just more patient with his actual changeup. Sometimes you get ahead of the hitter and you want to get him out so bad, you make the best pitch you possibly can and you actually overthrow the slider in the dirt or the changeup. And there he stayed with it, made it look like a fastball in the middle of the zone, faded away. Great 3-2 pitch.
Perez making his first career start against the Rays. He did pitch against them last year out of the bullpen. Actually went 5 innings out of the bullpen last season. Long relief outing and a blowout loss.
Gave up 2 homers to B.J. Upton.
At this point, you know, as a starting pitcher, you know that the guys are warming up or close to warming up. I think Ogando's in the bullpen right now. You're not going to be given any room for error. If the manager sees anything alter from this point on, you're going to be taken out. And in a regular season game, no way would you be taken out in this situation.
But you can't afford to.
Right.
Any trouble at all to add on to their lead, you just can't take the risk of him pitching through it again.
Washington was asked about the pressure of the moment, pitching in a tiebreaker game, the biggest game of Perez's career, as Loney swings away 3-0, a deep drive to center, and Martin able to make the catch. Might have leaped a hair early, but it ends up in his glove for an out. And Loney with the green light, 3-0, flies out to deep center. An excellent play by Leonys Martin.
I tell you what, 3-0, up 3-1. That's a great gift for a pitcher right there. 3-0. You don't necessarily lay it in there. The guy with the best road average was looking to take advantage of a crippled pitch and look to separate it from the wall, and center fielder picked him up.
Yeah, it was a pretty good swing. Shows you the ball doesn't carry quite as well that way as it does to right center.
So 2 up, 2 down for Martin Perez, and here is Yunel Escobar. Escobar, a strikeout victim in the second inning. Big damage done at the top of the Rays order, 1 through 5. Perez has handled the bottom half thus far, second time through the order now. Right back to the mound. Perez will wind it up, and a 3 up, 3 down inning. Very talented defensive outfield here in Texas. Leonys Martin fetches one. Nice play in a scoreless inning. First tiebreaker game in the major leagues since 2009. There was 3 in a row, 07, 08, and 09. Some of the more thrilling moments from those tiebreakers. And we're back at it again in 2013. The Rays and the Rangers, 3-1 Tampa Bay. David Price giving up a run last inning on an RBI single by Kinsler. And Rios, who was at the plate when Kinsler was picked off, will lead off this inning.
And what an advantage for David Price to pitch to Rios with nobody on, with the pickoff, not having to worry about him driving in a run unless he hits it out.
Kinsler and Andrews both picked off today. Rays have had a runner eliminated from the base paths as well. That was Jennings in the first inning. Big numbers for Rios. And he drives one to left, hit hard, but right at Sean Rodriguez. Out number 1. And moments ago between innings, we had a chance to visit with Rays manager Joe Madden. Well, Joe, it's early. What are you seeing at this point from your ace, David Price?
Pretty good fastball. I saw it as high as 96 tonight, which is pretty good for him recently, so that's a good sign right there. Primarily pitching with his fastball, what I like. Some cutters, some, I don't even know if he's thrown his changeup or curve yet, so pitching primarily with his fastball pretty well.
Joe, you've had a lot of changeover in your lineup, but the one consistent, Evan Longoria, what is it like to have him?
It's nice. It's nice to have that go-to piece all the time, and he always performs pretty well at this time of the year. He loves these kind of games, and pretty good piece of hitting his last at-bat.
And that last at-bat was a 2-run home run by Longoria in the 3rd, and he's 2 for 2 tonight. One gone here for David Price in the 4th. Adrian Beltre at the plate. He doubled to start the 2nd inning. And Price left him stranded there. Beltre clearly hobbling around the bases, nursing a left hamstring injury. And by the way, that hit by Beltre was hit number 199 of the season. And yes, the stats count in this game. He's tied with Matt Carpenter of the Cardinals right now for the major league lead.
I don't know how many people would be able to give you the correct answer if you asked them who was leading the American League in hits. I mean, how many people would guess him? They always associate it with the power and the RBIs, but not 200 hits.
What that means for Beltre with all of the at-bats is that he's been able to stay healthy this year. He has nearly 630 at-bats this season. That was the biggest question when the Rangers signed him. Could he stay healthy? What kind of player was he going to be if he had to play hobbled? But he's been fantastic for the Rangers. He's won a Gold Glove twice for them, has 4 in his career. Won the Platinum Glove Award as well, a new award given to the best defender in the American League. And of course, he has 3 straight years of at least 30 home runs. Ball and 2 strikes.
That's amazing. He has a closed stance, and he certainly can get on top of the ball, but he can also go down to one knee and golf it out. I wonder if that hamstring will prevent him from that unorthodox on his knee. Swing hard and hit it over the fence. The guy truly is one of the best third basemen in the entire game.
Count is even, 2-2. Price deals and Beltre pulls it foul.
He's still working him in. And as Joe Madden said, working off his fastball a lot tonight.
Beltre a bouncer to 3rd, and the Gold Glover Longoria for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for David Price.
Well, what I love about these type of games is every pitcher comes in with a scripted play, like let's say a head coach in football. And what you want is a game plan that you're going to execute. Hopefully you execute it to the fullest. It's when the hitters start making you change that execution. And early on, it's been fastball conscious, in and out. And the later the game goes, look for David Price, I would think, to start mixing in more changeups and breaking balls.
Kind of nice for him that he hasn't had to use that the first couple of times through the first time through the order.
Base is empty, 2 gone for A.J. Pierzynski. Price struck him out looking in the 2nd inning.
A lot of people were wondering what was wrong with David Price at the beginning of the year. He got off to a bad start, and as you mentioned, Brian, was on the disabled list. His ERA before the DL stint with the strained triceps, 5.24, and then after the DL, he got right again. Excellent ERA.
Price with 9 wins this year, 9-8 and a 3.39 ERA. And that 9th win came in his last start, so an extra shot to get into double-digit wins. And John, for a guy chasing a Cy Young Award last year, not all that uncommon that the following season dealing with some health problems, some arm problems.
Sometimes, but I would also think the most things that he deals with is lack of run support that you can't control all the time, and that's the low win total he has.
Hits the mound, and look at this play by Escobar. Throws Pierzynski out. Great hands by the Tampa Bay shortstop. Price with a 3-up, 3-down fourth. Between the Rangers and the Tampa Bay Rays, Martin Perez back at work. Perez facing Jose Molina to start this 5th inning. 3-1 Tampa Bay. Longoria has hit a 2-run homer. Rays scored in the 1st inning on a sac fly by Delman Young. Texas's run came in the 3rd on a Kinsler RBI single. Perez with 4 strikeouts at this point through the first 4 innings. He survived a mess in the 1st inning, stranding 2, giving up just that 1 run on a sac fly by Delman Young. He pitched last inning with Alexi Ogando loosening in the bullpen. And a little flare out to Kinsler. And there is out number 1. And a moment ago, between innings, we had a chance to visit with Ranger skipper Ron Washington. Well, Ron, I would imagine this is one of the tougher games to manage because of the expanded rosters. Game 163. How do you know when it's time to make a move with Martin Perez?
Well, you know, they put a run on us quick, and he got out of it. Then he started throwing the ball well. You know, right now I'm just going batter for batter. And, you know, if he gets somebody on the bag, I think I'm going to have to make a move.
Ron, you guys have been a great come-from-behind team all year long. 50 come-from-behind wins, but that'll put some gray hair on you if this keeps up.
No doubt about it. As long as we come back, I'll let the gray hairs keep coming.
And our thanks to Ron Washington as Andrews makes a play for out number 2. And I thought that was interesting that Ron Washington, that hook is pretty quick right now. He's ready to apply it. 1 batter, and Perez is coming out. We'll see if that changes here with 2 outs. And Ogando continues to heat up.
Well, you know that as a pitcher, and I think the tough part of the manager is you don't even take time to read too much and let too much happen, because now you're running out of outs, and you've got everybody you need down in the bullpen to match up with the Rays.
Myers lines 1 to 3rd. Beltre right there. He was guarding the line. And it's a 3-up, 3-down inning, a break for Perez. Rangers coming up down 2. Wildcard game tomorrow on TBS. 7 p.m. starts the MLB postseason pregame on TBS, presented by Jeep. 8 p.m. Eastern, it's the Reds and the Pirates. National League Central foes matching up in the NL wildcard game this postseason on TBS, presented by Johnny Walker. Following the game, Overman hosting the coverage on the post-game show. Great to have Keith along with us this season. And Tom Verducci in the studio as well. By the way, tomorrow, Mark DeRosa will join the gang. Dirk Hayhurst and Pedro Martinez as well. Nelson Cruz leads off for the Rangers. 3-1 Tampa Bay. And a big bouncer over to Longoria. And Price with the first out of the 5th inning.
I'm just telling you this right now. In Pittsburgh, it's going to be as loud as it's ever been. They've been waiting 20-plus years since 1992. That's some familiarity with that, of the fact that this town has been waiting a long time. And it's going to be a great environment tomorrow.
It's not just that they had a good year and finally finished over 500. I mean, they're in it. The curious thing is the familiarity with the Reds and how many times they've played. 6 times over the last 9 days, and now in the wild card game in Pittsburgh.
And then St. Louis finished with the best record. All 3 of those teams coming out of the National League Central. And with the Pirates winning the series over Cincinnati, earning the home field advantage. So PNC Park in all of its glory. It is one of the most beautiful ballparks in the major leagues, and it'll be on display tomorrow in the postseason. These are the matchups. The winner of the Pirates and the Reds will go right back into their division with the St. Louis Cardinals. And then the Dodgers will take on the Atlanta Braves. Los Angeles and Atlanta to start that division series. Mitch Moreland takes one up and in. Rangers with one gone. Moreland flew out to left his last time up.
David Price wanted that pitch. So did the Rays.
Now these two teams fighting for the right to enter into the postseason. I thought it was interesting. Both have written down in the clubhouse the flight itinerary to Cleveland tonight. Joe Madden says he's packed for a couple of weeks. I'm not sure some of the other players have.
No, they weren't.
They were not. They're running out of some gear.
But that's all right.
You want to think positive when you go on that road trip, thinking you're coming home, and then some circumstances lead you to differently. So you guys are scrambling a little bit.
Now the Rays were in the driver's seat when they left for that road trip. They went to New York to play the Yankees and then ended up in Toronto, as that one is in there for a strike. And David Aldridge, the Rays, well traveled, but they don't mind spending time in the air together.
No, not at all. Not at all, Brian. They stayed in Toronto to watch this Texas team finish its season and then flew down. Got here about 11 o'clock last night. If they win this game tonight, they will stay here, I was told, and they will fly to Cleveland tomorrow. They want to be able to celebrate something if they get into the playoffs, Brian.
That's a good call as Moreland delivers with a base hit, a little jam shot that falls. And Price goes back into the stretch. The Rangers have a man on with one out.
This is really a left-hander, Joe. I can't think anything other way. You've got to battle against David Price, and those are the type of hits you've got to have count.
Well, and the story on scouting report on Moreland is that lately he's been going the other way a little more on left-handed pitchers, and while that was just a flare, he was at least trying to stay inside the baseball and not pull off. Worked for him.
Last two hits have been jam shots. Kinsler and Moreland. Kinsler's drove in the only Texas run. And here's Craig Gentry, who hit a rocket past Escobar at short back in the third inning. And he scored that first run for Texas.
David Price has done a nice job really mixing it up, because first pitch, that's when you typically, aggressive teams are going to hit. 362 for the Rangers, and I can't think of too many first pitches that they've had great swings on. So he's been able to move his pitches around and keep them from attacking the first pitch.
Another one in there. Just took a little off right down the middle. And Gentry is in a hole, 0-2. Gentry's been smoking hot at the plate. One of the reasons he has pushed his way into the starting lineup for this tiebreaker game. And a fastball strike, 95 inside corner. And down goes Gentry as David Price carves him up.
Perfect pitch, just a perfect pitch. The hitter's got a hole on the right side. He's thinking about 0-2, trying to protect the plate, maybe go the other way. And Price did a great job of locking him up.
You could almost see Gentry thinking the mental Rolodex after he took that pitch right down the middle. A little off-speed pitch. And Price got on the attack, and he punches him out. Price with his third strikeout, 2 gone in the inning, and here is Leonis Martin.
I don't know what might have happened if the count was different, but with the Rangers already getting 2 guys picked off, you got Moreland at first. He doesn't run at all. He's one of the few guys in their lineup doesn't have a stolen base. But Ron Washington gets antsy over there, and if the count had gotten different with Gentry, it would have been surprising to me to see a hit and run play, which might still come even though they're behind.
That last time Martin was at the plate, he did put Gentry in motion. He grounded out to third. There's a big swing. And it's quickly 0-2 on Martin.
Not here, of course, with 2 outs, but it doesn't matter what the score is. Ron Washington's going to have the Rangers playing his aggressive style.
The Rays as a pitching staff done a great job with 2 strikes, second in the league, limiting the teams to only a 170 average. So getting to 2 strikes is a big success for why their staff has been so successful. You look at their starting staff, a lot of young guys, and their bullpen has got a lot of good, great arms up down there. So 2 strikes is a key for their overall success.
Bouncer over to first, easy enough for Loney. And David Price is rolling along here in Texas. 1 run allowed. He is through 5.
In any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Now the home crowd is getting anxious here on a picture-perfect night for baseball. Team president Nolan Ryan watching on. The Rays lead it 3-1. Well, this season started with a lot of discussion about Nolan Ryan and his role with the Rangers, sitting with his wife Ruth. But all that was worked out through the spring, and Nolan Ryan stays as the president of this club. General manager John Daniels. This organization has done a great job with their player development, their scouting. A lot of very talented players coming up, and they've needed them this year. Texas has dealt with a lot of injuries, and they're counting on some of their prize prospects, including Martin Perez tonight in this tiebreaker game.
Well, in any other year, Ron Washington would win the manager of the year, I think. And Mike Maddox gets great credit for 11 starting pitchers they've had to go through. Their ERA, the ranks offense in their pitching stats are great compared to this is a hitter's ballpark. So I think Ron Washington's done a great job. It looks like Terry Francona could win the manager of the year with Cleveland making the wild card in the playoffs. But what a great job. You can't think of 11 starting pitchers to get you to this point, and they've done it.
Nearly a third of the starts this year for the pitchers have been by rookies. So today is the 54th game this season started by a Texas Rangers rookie, and the numbers are there. 3.62 ERA in the top 4 in the league. The strikeouts are there, and the home runs, even though this is a home run ballpark for the most part, they've been able to keep them down. As Perez comes back, he strikes out Ben Zobrist. Strikeout number 5. And Ron Washington with Longoria coming up. Looks like he has gotten enough out of his young lefty.
Well, I give him a lot of credit. He could have really folded in the first inning with so much trouble, so many guys on the bases. He didn't.
Yeah, this is going to help this young man in the future. I know he didn't want to give up any runs, but he held himself to a respectable 3 runs and should get a nice cheer from the crowd.
Well, Ogando is coming in. 8 in a row retired to finish his night tonight. He's back and healthy, and now he enters this game as a relief pitcher with 1 out in the 6th, and he'll face Evan Longoria.
Ogando, live arm, a little bit of funky mechanics. He's going to come after you with a firm fastball, good off speed and secondary pitches. And like you said, Brian, if he can stay healthy, sky's the limit for him.
Made 3 relief appearances this season, 18 starts for Ogando, and comes high and tight on Longoria. Martin Perez retires 8 in a row after the Longoria home run. Finishes with 5 strikeouts in 5 1/3. And at this point, 3 earned runs allowed. On the hook for the loss as he leaves, and Longoria drives one into the gap at right center, and that's going to get down a base hit. And Longoria into second with a double. 3-hit night for Longoria, and is now a triple away from the cycle in this tiebreaker game.
I think he came in with a plan tonight, guys, and he is certainly executing it, going the other way. Opposite field homer, opposite field single his first time up, and now a gapper that way. trying to pitch him away, trying to stay away from his strength, and he is crossing them up.
Well, it makes it tough, especially at this time. If a hitter's not trying to do too much and taking what a pitcher gives you, and that's what Longoria has done, it makes it difficult to get him out. If he's pulling the ball, he may not have that success, and certainly Texas was hoping he'd be pulling.
And Young on the first pitch. Bouncer out to Kinsler, and there is out number 2. Longoria does advance to third, but Ogando with 2 gone now.
Ogando with 3 stints on the disabled list, a couple of times for his shoulder. Really kept him out of action a lot.
Sometimes his body and mechanics don't give his arm a chance to catch up. When he has everything working and his arm catches up, firm pitches come out.
With Ogando in the game, the right-hander, Joe Maddon's going to make a move to his bench. And out is Rodriguez, the right-handed batter, and in is David DeJesus. A late acquisition by the Rays. Went from the Cubs to the Nationals. Wasn't with Washington long. And then acquired by Tampa Bay. So he's been a good hit for the Rays since arriving in late August. 2 outs, runner at third.
Yeah, he's had some big hits down the stretch, filling in, and of course, with Desmond struggling with the hamstring, the ability to play the outfield and fill in nicely with some really, really big hits and some home runs.
And he's been a patient hitter for him too. Uses the whole field. They're going to play him a little toward left field. Back Gentry way over near the line and left. See how the outfield is overshifted.
DeJesus has not had a lot of success as a pinch hitter this year. He's just 1 for 23. Pinch hitting for Rodriguez with 2 outs in the 6th, and he rips one right field. That is fair and to the wall. In to score is Longoria. DeJesus into second with an RBI double. A 2-out run producing hit, and the Rays are up 4-1.
These are backbreakers, Joe, when you can get a 2-out hit.
Huge run.
Well, you look at the pitch, 2-0, and it just crippled pitch right down the middle, trying to go away, and he takes advantage, kind of baits him into his patience, thinking it might take, and he just rips it down the line. An easy double, and another big hit, as the Rays are hoping to get even more runs here.
Shows you what happens with a lack of command. I mean, they're playing him away. They want to pitch him away, and he crossed up the defense, missed up and in, and he turned on it.
Well, David Price take to a 3-run lead now. Big 2-out RBI double by DeJesus. Ogando has come in. He's given up 2 doubles. Longoria homered off Perez in the 3rd inning. And I'm sure sticking in the memory of Ron Washington. That's why he took him out. Didn't want to have that matchup again. So the threat of Longoria forced the pitching change. And Ogando intentionally walks Loney. 2 on, 2 out for Yunel Escobar.
Mike Maddox is out to talk to Ogando, and given what Ron Washington told us earlier tonight, guys, I'm surprised nobody else is up in their bullpen. If he brought somebody in that has been hit hard as Ogando has already, I'm surprised he didn't have somebody ready just in case.
This conversation should go a little bit like, look, aggressive hitter at the plate, trust your stuff. Let's get maybe a first pitch breaking ball, see if we can get him to expand the zone and then keep expanding the zone for Escobar, who loves to attack the fastball.
Ogando's been dealing with an injury to his shoulder, a nerve injury. That's why he's only appeared in 22 games this year. And not seeing the big fastball from Ogando that he showed last season. That was a breaking ball that misses outside. Yunel Escobar is 0 for 2. Perez got the first out with a K. He was removed from the game. Ogando has given up 2 doubles and an intentional walk. And Escobar a chance to do big damage here as that one misses badly.
83 and 81 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's getting on the side of that breaking ball. Usually it's a much firmer over the top and downward. It's not even come close to the strike zone, so his release point and his ability to be firm with that pitch is missing too. It's not even getting the hitter's attention.
That one's on the corner for a strike.
Those have too much of a hump, as I call a hump in it. You want that pitch going downward, breaking away, 45-degree angle away from a right-hander, and then you can go with a firm fastball. That's just getting underneath it.
Yeah. Ogando started the game on Friday. Went 5 1/3 against the Angels. Took a no decision in that game.
Chance here for Escobar if he wants to look for something off speed. That's all he's seen this at bat, but 3-1. You can guess a little bit here.
Big spot, 2 on, 2 out, and that one misses. Escobar is aboard with a walk. So an intentional walk followed by an unintentional walk. And the Rays have them loaded up and can deliver a big punch here to the Rangers and possibly a knockout punch here in the 6th inning.
You get a guy that's struggling a little bit at the plate. The team as a whole has struggled with the bases loaded. Only hitting .224, which is 14th. Here you got 2 outs. He's just been wild. Now the cat and mouse game with the hitter at the plate determining, is he going to try to come and attack me with a fastball, and it's my chance to jump on it.
Here's Molina swinging away at the first pitch. He fouls it back.
And I think that if you're watching the game and he is on deck, you see he's struggling with his breaking ball and his slider. So you got to feel, you got to guess and anticipate that pitch is going to be a fastball. And the same cat and mouse is at the pitching mound. What you're trying to do, you still got to be able to throw that slider closer to be effective to get out of this jam.
Bases loaded, 2 outs, and Molina takes outside that fastball at 95. Jose Molina, 2 career grand slams. Damage done with 2 outs. De Jesus doubled in Longoria. And that's in there for a strike. Got the call inside, and Ogando in the driver's seat. Liner to second, right at Kinsler. Disaster avoided. The Rangers give up a run. It's 4-1 Tampa Bay. Now let's send it to our Atlanta studio with Keith Olbermann, Pedro Martinez, and Tom Verducci. All right, Keith, thanks. And here we go to the home 6. And the Rangers down 4-1. All 3 of Price's strikeouts have been called strike 3s. Price back at it, and he will face the top of the Texas batting order, Kinsler, Andrews, and Rios. 3 strikeouts and a walk for David Price. That run he gave up in the 3rd came on a little flare by Kinsler. De Jesus, after the RBI double, will stay in the game to play left. An excellent defender in his own right. And Kinsler gets jammed. A pop-up foul territory that will end up in the camera well.
John, this Tampa Bay bullpen has been used a lot with these crucial games they've been playing. They were used a lot yesterday in relief of Moore. How far, pitch counts at 74, certainly a very manageable pitch count at this point in the 6th inning for David Price, but does he let him go as far as he can?
Yes and no, and where it means that the pitcher knows how to do math. He's in the 6th inning and he's facing the top of the order. So you can almost put yourself in an 8th inning mode, because this is an important stretch where you're facing typically the top of the order, the best chance for Texas to score. So what you're looking as a manager is, if his location starts suffering, I don't think the velocity will, but when location starts suffering later that you go, that's when you look to make the change. But if he can give him 2 more innings, I would say Joe Madden would love that scenario.
And a shot to short. Escobar gobbles it up, takes care of Kinsler for the first out. Now the Rays, they had a wild one yesterday in Toronto, so Joe Madden has seen his bullpen worked a lot. Fernando Rodney, their closer, actually pitched an inning in the 3rd yesterday in over 30 pitches. 76 pitches at this point for David Price, and Madden having a chat with his pitching coach Jim Hickey.
He does have 3 complete games, and over the last 3 months since July 1st, he's led the majors in innings pitched. So a real workhorse too.
1 gone. Elvis Andrus now.
Well, let's not forget he's also a little fresher typically, because he spent that time on the DL. He hasn't eaten up as many innings as he does, and when you get to this point, look, everybody's tired. I mean, their bullpen's probably got fumes working, but adrenaline and emotion in this game gets you to the next one.
You can hear him grunting away as he deals strike 2. Here's Fernando Rodney. And plenty of leisure time so far with Price on the mound. 0-2 to Andrus, who walked in the 1st, was immediately picked off, and he popped up into foul territory in the 3rd inning.
See David Price, watch it on the next pitch. He has an unorthodox way of following through. He's a big guy. He lands on that firm leg. It almost looks like he recoils, doesn't finish his delivery. But his ability to get down and actually get to his front leg. See what I'm talking about right here. It's kind of a little recoil. His leg stays up in the air, doesn't really finish. May not want to teach your youngster at home too much of this, but that firm front leg and then just kind of hangs there. But when his balance and everything's on, one of the best left-handers in the league.
Just impeccable command. Best in the American League statistically, as Andrus, a line drive back up the middle. And the Rangers have a man on in the 6th. Elvis Andrus with his first hit.
This looks like a changeup that doesn't exactly get down, just floats over the middle, and for most guys that's going to be an average 88-mile-an-hour fastball. See, just flinch. Ball's never as close as you think it is, but you never want the ball hit back up the middle anyways.
Now Price has had just 1 3-up 3-down inning. That was in the 4th, and it started with a line drive by Rios to left. So he's had some traffic on behind him, and he's only given up the 1 run. But now the heart of the order coming up. Andrus at first. And they wonder how active the Rangers will be on the bases. That's part of their game, but they're down 3 here in the bottom of the 6th.
Remember, Loney stepped in front of Andrus over there in the 1st inning. Didn't do it that time.
Guarding against a little payback, perhaps, right? And there he goes. And the throw to second is late. So Washington stays aggressive with his base runners. And you see why they do it. They're very successful at it. It gets this crowd on its feet and a runner in scoring position.
Well, you see the high leg kick. He delivers the ball. Really not in time for the catcher to be able to throw it down. You want it typically around 3 seconds or less in a perfect world.
42nd stolen base of the season for Elvis Andrus.
Yeah, only caught 8 times. What an outstanding percentage for him too.
Again, a tiebreaker game. This is part of the regular schedule. Season stats count. Feels like a postseason game, but it's game 163. The winner will advance into the postseason. Here's Rios. And a deep drive, left center, way back. And it is off the top of the wall. Andrews will score. It's an RBI double for Rios, and the Rangers are within a pair.
Each of their runs tonight have come after Ron Washington sent the runner. Gentry when he was moving on a ground ball, and now with a runner in scoring position, they get a run in on the double. I thought that was out of here.
This team has so much fight in him because their manager has fight in him, and he's in with every single play. You watch him go, and he's into it. He's not going to sit back and just relax. Right there, he didn't have to use his legs there, Joe, because it was a surefire double.
Right. 6 feet to the right, that's a homer.
Yeah, that notch out there in the outfield wall. Rios with a big hit. The stolen base pays off. I'm not sure Andrews would have been able to score on that. He had to hold up just to make sure it wasn't going to be caught. So he scores easily after the steal. Here's Beltre. Beltre with a double in the second. He drove one down the right field line. And a bouncing ball to short. Rios will go to third. Beltre retired. Price on a 6-3 put out. The second out in the inning.
In all night, and even that one wasn't quite in as far as Molina wanted it, but it worked. Couldn't get his arms extended like he wanted to.
Well, nothing regular about this atmosphere in a regular season game. Elimination day in the American League.
I would expect some kind of breaking ball against AJ. Loves to attack the first pitch. Let's do a lot of these Rangers. Something off or down in the zone. Feed off the aggressiveness of AJ. Go in.
Well, Brzezinski shatters his bat. Price underhands it to first and gets out of the inning. The Rangers score, but David Price through 6 still has a 4-2 lead. Tiebreaker game of the American League. David Price, and plenty of high fives on his way into the dugout after getting out of these 6. He did give up a run on 2 hits, but stranded a runner at third with this crowd going crazy. Price with 86 pitches through the first 6 innings. And thus far 2 runs. Rangers have a new hurler on the mound. Jason Frazier out of their bullpen, acquired from the Blue Jays. And he'll have the top of the order coming up for Tampa Bay. Desmond Jennings starts it. Will Myers to follow, then Ben Zobrist.
He's got a closed stance. Don't let the height fool you. He comes after you with a fastball. Good break on a slider / curveball. He closes up and he tacks you with the fastball straight over the top.
It's important for him. Put a 0 up for the Rangers, who just got one more single run across. They're trying to crawl back in this, but they've got to hold the Rays off in order to do that.
RBI double by Alex Rios. And some high-stress pitches by David Price. Retiring Beltre and Pierzynski as Frazier gets ahead 1-2 on Jennings.
Last time Jennings was up, he bounced one up the middle off the mound that Andrews made a play on, but before the injury to his leg, I think he would have had a chance to maybe make it close or beat it out. He did not get down the line well at all.
A 12-6 slider if he chooses to throw it, but he's going to go back away with a fastball.
Now, during the 7-game winning streak, the Rangers bullpen was the story, giving up just 1 earned run in over 20 innings. A run tonight allowed by Ogando in the 6th. 2-out RBI double by the pinch hitter DeJesus. 4-2 Rays, 7th inning, and Jennings in the air, deep left center, way back. Martin, he'll call. Gentry is there, and it's Gentry who makes the catch. Jennings with a long, loud out to left center, and one gone for Frazier in the 7th.
This happens a lot when you've got two guys who are natural center fielders. Neither one want to give up the ball. Certainly don't want it to drop. You can see Gentry calling for it there, but if Martin wants it, it's his ball as the center fielder. But he's got to call it too and make sure he hears him.
It's a good matchup with a guy that loves to hit fastballs. Pretty much sliders got to be the pitch right here.
Will Myers with one away.
See an unorthodox finish on Frazier too. He's almost like he's a field goal kicker after he throws.
I was thinking can.
But he uses that frame about as good as you can to deliver the ball to home plate.
Field goal kicker. I like that better.
Myers going to the glue stick. Going old school with the bare hands. One of the fresh young faces in Major League Baseball. His first run in the big leagues. Got called up in June. Two balls, no strikes on Myers. That one's in there. 2-1.
Until he grew that little facial hair he's got right there, he's the second coming to a young Dale Murphy.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah. He's got the look, he had the stance, and just the raw ability he has to hit a fastball. Dale, of course, started out as a catcher, but then eventually went to the outfield.
North Carolina native Will Myers, just 22 years of age. He was the Royals' 3rd rounder in 09, elevated to one of their top prospects. He and Jake Odorizzi coming from Kansas City to Tampa Bay.
It's like a good trade for both sides.
Outstanding trade. Changed both franchises in a way that you can look back and go, that's the definition of a good trade when both sides benefit.
And a swing and a miss. Everything down in the zone for Frazier, and the count goes to 3-2.
That's that slider right there, and if he wants to, he can go right back to it. No sense trying to play games at this point with a fastball hitter at the plate that loves to extend.
Back to the slider. He doesn't bite. Myers draws the walk. So good at bat by a young hitter, and the Rays have a man on with one away. Now the Royals have been pretty stingy with their prospects, but this year they felt like they needed to make the move, and the key piece in that trade was James Shields. Wade Davis had a disappointing season, but Shields was anything but. And the Rays acquiring Myers, Mike Montgomery, Patrick Leonard, and Myers figures to be a big part of Tampa Bay's future.
And the trade-offs there being Tampa having rich farm system that brings up young pitcher after young pitcher, but Kansas City needed the starting staff, and James Shields immediately brought impact. Wade Davis later out of the bullpen had an impact where the Royals were charging late because of that starting pitcher.
Now here's the switch hitter Zobers now with a runner at first. Rangers just now got activity in their bullpen. And the left-hander Neil Kotz. Part of that late inning relief corps for Texas. Typically when they have a lead, but all bets are off in this do or die matchup here tonight.
I might be speaking with my opinion hat once again, but you know that's what I do. Eventually the system's got to change for the amount of players that can be used in September. Here we are in a crucial game, and you have the luxury of going to 6 left-handers if you wanted, 6 right-handers, and in time I think that's going to change.
I'd like to see that change too.
Rosters expand from 25 to up to 40 once you get to September 1st. And both of these clubs have 37 players active tonight for this game. 37. And play the entire season up until September with 25. And the reasoning behind that, you want to give prospects a chance. You open up your roster. And at some point you figure there's going to have to be a change, at least to declare a specific number of players. I think a lot of managers that I've talked to either want to declare a specific number, maybe 25 or up to 28, and then you either do it per game or you maybe do it per series.
Right.
But at least you know who is active and who is not. All points for down the road and off-season discussions.
And I get it. They say every game counts, but September's more important. Let's face it. I mean, you know, you don't win a pennant in April. You certainly put yourself in a nice position, get a head start. Moving forward in the wild card game, you're able to manage your roster however you want, because that one particular game is going to be different, and you can change it again if you advance. So a lot of different tricks you can do at this point to give yourself a chance to win, but I think every manager would like to see it condensed.
Zobrist, patient as always, and he's worked the count in his favor. 3 balls and a strike.
3-2 count missed to Myers. Now he's behind in the count to Zobrist and Mr. Longoria on deck.
Jason Frazier starting the 7th inning. He retired Jennings, walked Myers, and Zobrist to center field, hit well, but Martin will run it down. And Myers retreats. 2 gone for Frazier. Comes back to get him on a hitter's count. And with Evan Longoria coming up, Mike Maddox is on his way back to the mound, his 3rd trip to the mound today. Well, Evan Longoria is having quite the night. 3 hits. He's a triple away from the cycle. And the big hit of the night came in the 3rd with 2 outs. Off Martin Perez, he connects for a 2-run home run. 32nd homer of the season for Longoria. At the time gave the Rays a 3-1 lead.
And I'm guessing this conversation has got to be talking about the fact that they really haven't gone in. Everything's been away. He's gone to right field. If you're not going to throw sliders away, you've got to be able to trust that you can throw a fastball in. The cat and mouse game, the 4th at bat, different pitcher he's facing. So let's see what that conversation, along with A.J. Krzyzewski about behind the plate, where they invite this first pitch with a great hitter at the plate.
3 hits, a triple away from the cycle. Last done by a Ray back in 09, B.J. Upton. 4 runs, 6 hits total for the Rays. And Longoria with half of them. Top of the 7th, and Frazier will check on Myers.
If you're Evan Longoria, you already have your 3 hits. You're feeling good about everything they've thrown you tonight. I don't think you even start trying to guess in or out here. You just want to see the pitch.
Yeah.
He's got a great swing working.
All 3 of his hits to right field, right center. Well, how good has Longoria been in the last game of the season? They had that historic home run for the Rays back in 2011, the walk-off. 3 homers in the final game of the season last year. And in this, the final game of the regular season, game 163, has 7 homers with 10 runs batted in.
See how the outfield is shifted over a little bit for him now to right center. Martin trying to take that gap away from him. But just look how calm he is at the plate. Real short stride, very upright, hands still.
Well, it was almost like he was taking a strike, and even though it was a strike taken in on a fastball in, I still think that was a good pitch to put in his mind. But to your point, that's a pitcher's nightmare when he looks like he's not bothered by anything.
No.
Frazier with 2 gone. And Longoria takes. Wouldn't chase on that breaking ball down and away. 2 balls and a strike.
John, when you see a guy take a breaking ball like that, that tells you a lot too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's frustrating because certainly you want to be able to make it look more inviting, but you're betting he's going to be aggressive. You're betting he's going to try to get out. He's not. So the pitch you have to make has to be closer to the plate because you never want to throw a pitch anticipating a hitter's taking. So if you think a guy's being aggressive against you, you've got to make that look like a strike and get it out of the zone. And when he takes it like that, all bets are off.
Yeah, he was actually looking middle away, saw it all the way to the glove. He had no intentions of trying to turn on whatever pitch was coming.
See what Frazier has in mind here. 2 outs in the inning. Delmon Young is on deck for Tampa Bay. And that one's in there.
You know, the other thing, the possible part of the conversation as we look at this pitch, catch the strike zone. You see that one hung. He got away with it because it started up and came down. But he, you know, even though there's a man on base, you treat this as if there's a base open only because of a respect for Longoria.
See if they're going to send a runner. 2-2.
Oh, just missed.
Kellogg flinched a little bit. I thought he was about to step back and ring him up.
And the count goes full.
Well, at some point they had to go in. He goes in with a firm fastball off the plate. Okay, sets up a 3-2 pitch. Still, in my mind, an aggressive pitch for the pitcher. He can do whatever he wants. If he walks him, not the end of the world. But if he lays one in there and it's a 2-run homer, that's the end of the world for this game.
Full count, runner takes off, and Longoria takes ball 4. Back to the same spot. Longoria draws the walk. Second walk issued by Frazier. And Ron Washington on his way out, and he'll take Frazier back with him. Second trip to the mound. And it looks like it's going to be Joaquin Soria.
That's just a great at bat. I mean, that's tipping your hat. You don't want to as a pitcher, but.
Well, some anxious moments for the Rangers and their fans and their president. 2 on, 2 out. We'll take a break. It's his responsibility. Frazier, the 3rd pitcher used tonight by Washington, and now he goes to a former closer in Joaquin Soria, who will match up against Delmon Young, former Royal closer coming back from the Tommy John ligament replacement surgery.
Really good at throwing breaking balls, coming back from Tommy John, so trying to get his touch that he's used to having when he was a dominant closer for the Royals. Still has a firm fastball. Can pitch away really well.
And Young swings, line drive center field. Martin coming in, and he can't make the play. It bounced. And they're going to call it an out. So he makes the catch. It looked like it bounced, perhaps not. Leonis Martin makes the catch. And the inning is over.
You were right, Brian.
Whoa.
Trap, the bounce, and then into the glove of Martin. And with 6 umpires, how was this missed? This cost Tampa Bay a run and did not allow them to extend the inning. Delmon Young could see 6 umpires, The call was made by the left field umpire, Bruce Dreckman, but he was barely off the line and nowhere near center field to watch it.
Well, that is a huge break for the Rangers, and that could play big moving forward. Now Price back on the mound in a 4-2 game. And normally it's a 4-man umpiring crew in the regular season. This is a regular season game, but because of the nature of it, it's a 6-man crew like you would see in the postseason. And the reason the outfield umpires are where they are and not down by the wall is to see traps. And they missed it.
And to see angles and be able to be at a different perspective to see the ball bounce into the glove.
Well, this age-old discussion, and because it's different and the rotation you spoke of, Brian, it is unorthodox on some of the calls. We saw it last year in Atlanta. This will be result next year in instant replay. You'll be able to throw a flag, if you will, because that right there is a perfect scenario of why it is a tough play to call, but we've got to get it right. We've got to get it right, and the umpires should be able to get together, and Joe Madden was wishing that was the case right now.
Yeah, unfortunately on the third out sometimes that's hard to get resolved, but if I were Joe Madden, I think I'd want to know if he would ask for help. That was the first guy to throw his arm in the air was Bruce Dreckman. I would ask him to at least ask for some help from the other umpires who may have had a better look at it.
Sam Folt takes over in center field for Jennings. Nelson Cruz bats. David Price back on the mound, sitting on a 2-run lead. And a swing and a foul tip into the mid of Molina. That'll be a strikeout for Price. Well, he's been able to quiet this crowd all night long when they've gotten revved up. Pitching like an ace tonight, who doesn't necessarily have his A stuff.
You know, this is interesting that Joe Madden said something to us tonight about how he records his strikeouts. A lot of called third strikes because he doesn't get a lot of swings and misses, right? That was the first swing and miss tonight, and actually a foul tip on a strikeout.
So here is Mitch Moreland. One run would have scored. The runners were on the move with 2 outs. Myers would have scored easily. As Moreland, that's foul, just past the bag.
Well, to put a bow on it in the future, it was up to the umpire's discretion in the future when they correct the call to see where the runners are. They can determine where the runners should be and if they would have scored. In this case, obviously, it's a moot point, but moving forward, at least we've got to the point in 2014 where this will be addressed.
Combs and McGee in the bullpen for the Rays. David Price churning along here in the 7th. His pitch counted 93. Price has given up 2 runs. The Rangers have 6 hits tonight.
Let's give a little credit to Martin, too. He made it look like he had it the whole way and came straight up as if he caught the ball. That's the next best thing you can do, even if you know you trapped it.
Moreland takes a strike. 0-2 the count. Rangers at the bottom of their order. A couple of hits from the final 3 hitters in the batting order. Moreland has one of them. He singled in the 5th. Rays scored in the 1st. 2-run homer by Longoria in the 3rd. They added 1 in the 6th. Texas got their first run in the 3rd inning. Kinsler with an RBI single. It was 3-1 at that point. And Texas scoring last inning on a double by Rios to make it 4-2. Price deals a 1-2, and Moreland hits it hard, backhanded by Zobrist, and there is out number 2. Now Texas, their season winding down to their last 7 outs. This has been a team made for the comeback this year, the best in the business, coming from behind, and another one yesterday. Some anxious moments here.
Velocity is an incredible thing. David Price has not hit his location too many times in the last inning in the 3rd, but the velocity overrides it. And that pitch right there was supposed to be away, but he threw it in and still was able to beat the batter's barrel enough to ground out. When you get later in the game, of course, you're going to get a little tired. So you have to concentrate on pitch selection and location more than you would in the first 3 innings. First 3 innings, you can kind of let it eat a little bit and let that velocity be your weapon.
Craig Gentry, right center. And Fold will make the catch. And how about David Price with the crowd roaring after that play to end the 7th. A 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th. 7th, and the fire burning hot. Price comes right back, shuts down the Rangers, quiets them down. 7 innings, 98 pitches, gives up just 2 earned runs. The Rangers had beaten him 3 times in postseason games. Of course, knocking the Rays out in 2010-2011. Price looks like he may be done. Neil Kotz is on the mound for the Rangers. We go to the 8th.
How about that ERA in 57 games?
Yeah, he's done a nice job in the late heroics of his team, rewarding him with 8 wins. He's got a firm slider that he throws a lot. Tight break, fastball 92 on up, 4-seamer, and a cutter.
David DeJesus will lead off his 2nd plate appearance. He pinch hit in the 6th, and he drove in the 4th Rays run. Had a pinch hit RBI double, and that came with 2 outs in the 6th inning.
Neil Cox was out of the game for a time, and when he came back, the Rangers gave him another chance, and he was in the minor leagues.
DeJesus bunts it foul.
Faced about 30 left-handed hitters before he was called up and did not allow a hit to any of them.
He's a great story, right? Your left-hander will travel as long as you have a little bit of stuff. 33 years of age, Kotz. Did pitch yesterday, got 1 out, but he also gave up a base hit to Josh Hamilton. With just 1 earned run allowed in his last 16 2/3 innings. Been very good for Texas. And DeJesus off the end of the bat. Kinsler has to hustle it over, and DeJesus retired. Out number 1 of the 8th. The winner here tonight will fly to Cleveland and take on the Indians in the American League wild card game on Wednesday. 2 wild card spots. The Indians gained the top spot with a great finish to the season. And the Rays and the Rangers, identical records, forcing this tiebreaker matchup. First tiebreaker game since '09 in the major leagues. These are rare, but they provide some of the most dramatic moments in any season. And we're 3 in a row at one point, '07, '08, and '09. But this is only the 10th one-game tiebreaker matchup in the history of baseball.
Yeah, and the rarity of this, those other teams that won that game got a chance to play in a series. This team gets rewarded in playing another one-game, 7th game format.
That was the Rockies in '07. Remember that Matt Holliday slide? Called safe. Rockies went on to advance. They would end up in the World Series that year. Twins were in there twice, '08 and '09.
That Rockies team went on an incredible 21-1 spurt, only to end up losing in the World Series to the Red Sox.
Remember, they had like a week off from the time they clinched to the start of the World Series, maybe 8 days. Kind of took some of their steam.
Yeah, the 2 teams that are waiting to play the winner of not only this game, but then the winner of Cleveland is Boston. They'll have about 4.5 days off, and they're hoping that they got to go. These teams got to go through a lot of pitchers and a lot of innings.
Yeah, the American League Division Series that'll go through Boston will not begin until Friday. 2-2 to Loney, and a swing out of this. Cox strikes him out. 2 up, 2 down. DeJesus and Loney retired.
And this is that firm breaking ball type slider that I was talking about at 88 miles an hour. You see the tight spin. He's got a firm fastball, so the hitter's got to respect it, and the ball breaks down away from the barrel of the bat. The hitter doesn't have enough time to recognize or see the spin.
Here's Escobar now. And Washington will let it ride with Kotz, with the right-hander at the plate. And John looking ahead to the Rangers' 8th. 9-1-2 coming up. Martin will lead off, who's been a leadoff hitter this year, and then Kinsler followed by Elvis Andrews. Quickly 0-2. Kotz is throwing darts. Peralta getting ready for the 8th.
Tell you what, we got a shot of that bullpen. It used to go the other way, and it was one of the hottest places in the world. They've opened it up, and obviously September, not like the summer months, but you used to actually pitch away from the playing field, and now you got it going lateral.
Escobar tracking it all the way in. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Joe Madden called Yunel Escobar one of the biggest difference makers in their club this year. That he and Loney, especially from the defensive side, have made all the difference in the world in their ball club. They only made 59 errors this year as a team.
A.J. Perezinski was having a nice conversation with the umpire, at least it was. Seemed that he was talking to him without turning around, wanting to get that pitch. Escobar looked in as if he was listening to the conversation.
Full count. Kotz trying to get the Rangers back at the plate. And Escobar takes ball 4. Got ahead of him 0-2 and lost him. Good at bat by Yunel Escobar. And a base runner for the Rays. And Ron Washington doing some thinking over there. He's got Jose Molina coming up.
That's 7 walks issued by Texas tonight. 2 have scored.
Martin Perez walked 2. Ogando a pair of walks in just 2/3 of an inning. Frazier walked 2. And now Kotz delivers his first walk.
Well, Tampa, all they did was lead the American League in walks this year, so their patience has won out in this game. You can get awfully anxious. We talked about the team that can play it the closest to a regular season game and be patient, take what the pitcher gives you. Tampa has done that.
And a bouncer back to the box. Nice play, Kotz, and that'll do it for the Rays in the 8th. He strands a runner and a scoreless inning. And here comes Joel Peralta, the major league leader in games pitched. He'll have the 8th when we come back. Well, hold the phone for a moment. Literally, the bullpen phone. Peralta was all revved up, ready to come into the game. Joe Madden signaled out, stay put for now. David Price is coming back out for the 8th inning, assuming he's only going to face one batter, the left-handed hitting Leonys Martin, who leads off.
Which is not a bad thing for Peralta either. He threw 20 pitches yesterday in that workup in Toronto, so maybe a short inning for him is in order too.
All right, so Price continues. The 9-hole hitter, Leonys Martin. Always a threat to bunt, and he takes one inside for a ball. The Rangers down a pair. The Rays getting a terrific start from David Price tonight. Every time the Rangers have tried to get something going, Price has quelled the rally. And this big crowd here tonight. Looks like Martin is taking all the way.
Well, the good thing here for the Rangers, they got 2 leadoff men starting this inning with Martin and Kinsler. And then the Rays are going to have to navigate their way through the power in the middle of the order for the Rangers at least one more time.
And he chased ball 2.
Yeah, he almost got jammed right there and couldn't get out of the way as he's taking one of the gloves off, because looks like he got his hand pretty good in the bat. He's sitting here trying to get a bunt base hit, and he catches his finger on the inside part of his finger, and that, let me tell you, hurts.
Right on the knuckle.
One of the things you're especially a good bunter like him, one of the things you learn right away is not to wrap your hand around the bat, and he did.
Well, Longoria's playing way back, so this pitch is up. And of course, he's looking to get the extended part of the barrel on the ball, but he gets where his hand is holding. And I don't know if Longoria was baiting him to actually bunt the ball, anticipating he would come in. But nonetheless, what is that, his top hand?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Martin is going to try to stay here. They get hit square on the knuckle.
I'd want him to swing the bat. I'd want him to get the bat in his hands and at least take a couple of practice swings to see how it feels.
He's having a hard time getting his glove on. I think Washington is going to let it ride. He could bring on a right-hander to pinch hit deep in the count. That'd be interesting to see what Joe Madden would do if that was the case. And I think Leonis Martin is going to try to continue. A couple of warm-up tosses by Price as he waits. One ball, two strikes. Martin back in there. First batter of the 8th for the Rangers. And a little jam shot. And he's going to have to go dump his hands in ice for a while tonight.
What a great pitch, and it's just so typical of you doggone pitchers. Guy gets dinged on the hand, and then you come right back in on his hands again.
That's just like fouling the ball off your foot. You know that next pitch is going right back in there. Not because you want to.
Right.
And Joe Madden is going to let it ride here with David Price. There's been a lot of discussion between Hickey, the pitching coach, and Madden.
This is what makes this game so great and interesting and tough for a manager. A lot of questions will be asked on strategy.
And Kinsler goes down the line. That's a fair ball. And it takes a big bounce off the side wall. Kinsler on his way to second. And he'll stop there with a double. So now the Rangers will bring the tying run to the plate.
Up and out over the plate. You talked about him still having the velocity, Johnny, even though he's losing a little bit on location. That time Kinsler got on the velocity too.
Cool and calm, Joe Madden. He told us earlier he's already gone through every possible matchup in his mind before the game, so that he doesn't have to make the quick decision. It feels like he's playing a hunch right here. He sticks with his ace.
Yeah, a bunch of right-handed hitters coming up in the heart of their order.
Elvis Andrus. Starts him with a strike. 93 on the fastball from Price.
Again, as a pitcher late in the game, you're facing the guy multiple times. You have to be location conscious more than anything. Get the ball to the area that's intended. You're going to lose a little velocity.
Rangers have the tying run at the plate. One gone in the 8th. And Andrews drops a bunt down. Price gloves it, flips it out of his glove for the out. What a play by David Price. Man, oh man. That was something special by the Rays pitcher there.
I'm just telling you, no matter how many times you practice this in spring training, this is a play you got to work on instincts. He gets it in the glove and flips it. That's not an easy play. His control and athleticism, only way he makes this play is to do exactly what he did. Great idea by Andrews. Better play by David Price.
Yeah, he spoiled it. It was a good bunt. Surprised him. That ball could have easily hung up in his glove and been flipped over the head of Loney.
Wow, that takes some serious guts in a spot like this. Price in total control here. And Madden's going to let him stay. Alex Rios, who doubled in a run in the 6th.
And he lined out his last time up before that. He's had some good swings against Price tonight.
In there for a strike.
There we're seeing a few more cutters and a few more backdoor cutters. Fastballs away, fastballs in early. This is your horse. This is the guy who won the Cy Young last year. And this is the guy that's going to help reset some of those guys who have had to pitch late in the bullpen the last 7 days.
Well, I can't wait to hear from Joe Madden after this game about the thought process. Had Peralta all heated up. Peralta, as we were going to break, he was running off the bullpen mound as if he was going toward the gate, ready to come in. He's thrown a couple of innings down there at this point.
Yeah, and you think about the work he put in yesterday, that's a lot.
And we don't know about the conversation in the dugout, whether his pitcher went to his pitching coach or manager, said, I've still got what it takes to get through this next inning.
Rios, a bouncing ball to short. Escobar will take care of Rios, and David Price. He's allowed to go back out for the 8th, and he rewards his skipper with a 0. 4-2 Rays to the 9th we go. The postseason pregame on TBS presented by Jeep. Rays or Rangers against the Indians at 8 p.m. Postseason show on TBS presented by Johnny Walker following the game. To the 9th, the Rays lead 4-2. Sam Fuld will lead off. His first plate appearance, came in defensively last inning. And Tanner Scheppers is the new Texas pitcher.
You want to see easy gas. This guy has it. Long arm action. Ball kind of explodes. And a downward, straight down slider action with his breaking ball.
Well, it's been a great contrast tonight. Washington, Joe Madden. Washington going with the early hook with the rookie. After he had retired 8 straight, Joe Madden just letting it ride with David Price. Got relievers in the bullpen, and now he is through 8 with Price, and his closer, Fernando Rodney, is loosening.
Who has not been automatic lately.
Yeah, that's the big difference between the two pitchers when you talk about in the open, Joe. The experience, even though it's level when you start this game, but really Washington had no other choice but to do how he's done this game with his pitching staff.
And Fuld delivers with a base hit. Martin over to cut it off. He'll hold Fuld to a single. So a base hit for Sam Fuld. Well, Madden's getting a lot of production out of his bench. DeJesus pinch hit. He drove in a run with a double. And now Fuld singles in his first plate appearance. He's aboard for Will Myers.
Watching Jonas Martin out in center field. He's got his glove off. He's pacing around like that finger is killing him where he was hit on the bunt attempt.
That would be his glove hand, his non-throwing finger. That was hit on that bunt attempt but off Price.
This will be a good test here. A live fastball arm with a guy that loves to swing and hit and attack fastballs. You see the wide stance when he comes to the stretch, an unusual wide stance. What he has to do from there is pick up his leg and generate power in his lower half, but primarily rely on his live arm to throw this baseball.
Scheppers yesterday in the win against the Angels pitched the 8th inning. 9 pitches yesterday. It's 4 in a row for him at this point, and up until this point. This is the 5th consecutive day. Joe Nathan's in the same boat for Texas, and you wonder how much these guys have left in this Rangers bullpen. Had to fight so hard just to get into this tiebreaker. Slow roll to third. Beltre's only play is first. And out number 1. Fuld advances to second on the ground out. Puts a runner in scoring position for the Rays with 1 away in the 9th.
But we've been talking about this elimination game today, if you will. Every game's been an elimination game during the homestand for the Rangers. They won 7 straight against Houston and the Angels. And they had to. They had to win every one of them, and they did, and they had to use whatever method they could. In this case for Ron Washington, his best setup men and his closer to finish games.
Well, it hasn't been pretty for Texas, but that somehow, some way, they've kept themselves in this game at 4-2. A lot of walks, a lot of traffic for Tampa on the base paths.
Now the Rays have stranded 8 on base tonight. And a man on with 1 out. Fold at second. He runs well. And Zobrist takes a strike. 98-mile-an-hour fastball from Shepherds.
I'd say he's not running on fumes.
Some feel like he's the future closer for the Rangers.
College shortstop at Fresno State. He moved here to the Metroplex this offseason to work specifically with Mike Maddox, try to harness some of this great power and great talent. And he's been fantastic for him all year, mostly pitching in a setup role.
As wide as his stance is in that stretch, I can't believe he didn't balk as long as he held that position and didn't flinch, watching the runner at second.
Well, that would be a huge run for the Rays to pick up in this 9th inning. They were able to tack one on in the 6th. RBI double by DeJesus. At the time made it 4-1. The Rangers scored in the bottom of the 6th. And a jam shot foul.
And don't forget, Brian, about that run they should have had in the 7th.
Yeah, that missed call on the line drive to center field. Off the bat of Delman Young would have certainly scored one more run. That would have put 2 on with 2 out. Yeah, he's gingerly putting that glove on, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, the relievers have been outstanding all year. 2nd in ERA in the American League. And they've been the best with runners, and 2nd best with runners in scoring position ERA wise, and the best with average. So they don't strike out a bunch as a staff, but they find ways to limit the damage once runners are in scoring position.
Shepherds has Zobrist in a hole, 1-2. Two and two. Shepherds deals it. Zobrist fouls it away.
That was a hit or be hit pitch. Like it was so far inside.
Well, he's yet to throw that breaking ball down in the zone. He's gone up. He's gone in.
Zobrist is good at just dropping his bat on the ball without over swinging. That stays in the hitting zone for a long time.
And Fold takes off to third. The throw gets away. And Sam Fold will score. Caught the Rangers napping. And a huge error allows Tampa Bay to take a 5-2 lead.
Well, it's just what you were talking about, Joe, a little bit with that unorthodox stance. You see him wide stance. He takes off, and the first thing he's got to do is step off with his back foot. And because he's so spread out, he's got to short arm it to third, and he throws it to the wrong side of the outfield side of the bag. And this is just an aggressive heads-up play by Sam Fold.
Outstanding. Just an outstanding base running effort by Fold.
That's a big, big run. 5-2 Rays. And Zobrist takes a called strike 3. Out number 2. Just taking advantage of a young pitcher locked up in a big moment.
Third baseman Evan Longoria.
And again, you know, not to belabor the point, but you're in a not a very good athletic position when your leg is that far out. You got to put all your weight on one leg. So Sam Fold just said, you know what, I've been timing him, I'm going to take off.
You know what's great for Sam Fold? He didn't have a very good year. Hit 194. This is what he does. He comes in for defense, gives you a late inning at bat, and a good base runner. Smart player, knows how to play, leads off the inning with a base hit, and eventually finds himself in a position to make something happen.
Longoria, triple away from the cycle, hammers that one down the left field line. That is hooking foul. Hit it a ton. Count to a ball and 2 strikes on Longoria. Two outs. That'll be a stolen base and an error, by the way, for Fold. For the 5th run, Longoria chases, and Przinsky has to secure the K at the plate. So the Rays are done in the 9th, but Sam Fold steals one from Texas. Bottom of the 9th, last call for the Rangers. Rays lead 5-2. This tiebreaker, game 163. The winner is headed to Cleveland for the American League wild card on Wednesday. And David Price is back on the mound. He's going to try to finish this one. And you talk about an amazing Major League debut. This is one of them here. Kevin Kiermaier is making his Major League debut in center field. They just brought him up with Jennings and the hamstring injury, a problem. A plus defender out of the minor league system for the Rays. And he's there as Beltrade leads off. Price trying to finish this tiebreaker. He has found a new gear. It looked like Joe Madden was going to pull him after the 7th inning. He came out for the 8th, thought he might face one batter, didn't happen. He finished the 8th, and now he's trying to go the distance. And Beltrade, deep left field. Back to Jesus at the wall. He's got it just in front of the fence. And David Price is 2 outs away from pitching the Rays into the postseason.
That's such a huge run there in the top of the 9th inning, because the Rangers certainly capable of getting one guy on with their pop they have in their lineup, tying the game up on one swing. But now they got to get 2 guys on for that to happen. And the way Price is pitching, I don't see it happening.
Well, in a day and age where pitching has changed and the amount of innings and pitches that we expect a pitcher to go, this is what you train for. This is what you love. Your ace, your horse. He's out there trying to finish what he started in the extra game 163.
Brzezinski takes a strike. Joe Madden was reminiscing about a tiebreaker game he was involved in 1995. The Mariners and the Angels. Joe Madden was the first base coach of the Angels that year. And he talked about Randy Johnson and a complete game, 12 strikeout performance in that 95 game. Talking about aces stepping up in big moments. And his ace has a chance to go the distance in this tiebreaker.
They got a break there. Looked like AJ swung the bat on another slider, but you've seen more off-speed pitches later in the game, not having to just rear back and throw your fastball.
John, he's kind of saved his breaking ball. I mean, he hasn't used it hardly at all.
Right, that's typically what he does. I mean, the separation between pitches earlier in his career, he had a great breaking ball that was a good change of speeds. He developed a 2-seamer, then went to the changeup. And when he's throwing strikes, as his manager said, that's when he knows he's on top of his game. It was a little array, a little wild early, but he's honed in lately and been able to get outs when he needed them.
1-2 on Brzezinski, and down he goes. No, a foul tip. I beg your pardon. Just got a piece of it.
Changed his arm angle on that one, too.
And so Price back at a 1-2 count. If you're wondering, the season high pitch count for Price, if you're into pitch counts, 127. He did that on September 10th against Boston, went 8 innings in that game. He's well under that mark. This is 115. Count remains a ball and 2 strikes.
Good thing for him here is he's got a guy at the plate in Brzezinski who is tough to walk. He's going to be swinging just as he was there on what was a ball almost at him.
On the ground, Zobrist. 2 outs. And the Rays an out away from advancing into the postseason. 2 up, 2 down for David Price.
I can't say enough of the guts of a manager to be able to stick with a pitcher when you've got a bunch of, even though they may be tired arms, in a day and age where everything gets questioned and second guessed. He has done everything with this organization. It seems like he pushes the right buttons. He has fun. He has different themes, different shirts. And right now, it's working.
Stuck with Price. And Price with one more out to get. Nelson Cruz at the plate.
You know what? He didn't just stick with him to send him back out there. He gave up that 1-out double to Kinsler in the 8th inning and stayed with him with all those right-handers coming up too.
Cruz a bounce to short. Escobar. And this could do it. And the Rays are in the postseason. David Price goes the distance. A complete game for Price and Tampa Bay back in the postseason. They'll match up against the Indians on Wednesday. A stunned crowd here in Arlington. Well, what a performance by David Price. And I believe somewhere in that scrum, Chewbacca has made an appearance.
He sure did. He ran out there and tried to jump on top of it. Listen, this wasn't the greatest game he's pitched, but I'll call it the guttiest and probably to this point the most important of the season. David Price basically and Longoria said, as our leaders, we're going to take you on our back, follow me, and man, what a job he did.
0-3 lifetime in the postseason against the Rangers. This is a regular season game, but so much riding on it, and Price exacts some revenge. His 4th complete game of the season. That matches Chris Sale for the American League best. And the Tampa Bay Rays, congratulations, advancing to the American League wild card game. They'll have Alex Cobb scheduled to pitch. Danny Salazar for the Indians. And the Rangers season ends with Nelson Cruz making the final out.
Well, it just was impressive. Mechanically, he got better out in front. It seemed like he got smoother as the game went on, and he knew that this was part of the plan, and to reset that bullpen, man, I can't speak to what a job he did today.
He pitched a lot bigger than his 6'6", 220 tonight. I mean, there was a time earlier tonight we knew he was out of the game. Not so.
Price wins his 10th. The Rays celebrate. 9 innings, 7 hits tonight allowed, but only 2 earned runs. Had a walk and 4 strikeouts, and he'll finish the season with a 10-8 record and a 3.33 earned run average. And his most gutsiest performance of his career. And he had some questions about his postseason. Remember in 08 when he came up and he was so good out of the bullpen for the Rays. And the reigning Cy Young Award winner pitched like it here tonight.
He sure did. Now he's passing the baton on to the next guy, and that's Cobb. And if Cobb can do his job, then it gives David Price an opportunity to pitch against Boston, probably on Saturday. Don't know for sure, but that's when it would be scheduled to be his next 5 days from now.
Well, it's just great to see big players step up at big times like he and Longoria did. The guys that you count on the most, when they step up and do it, it makes everything easier for the guys behind them.
Yeah, they broke out Chewbacca in that marathon 18-inning victory over the Orioles. Well, it is tough to win on the road. And the Rays come into the ballpark in Arlington and take care of the Rangers. They eliminate them from postseason contention. Oh, and now Tampa Bay set up with one of their great young pitchers in Alex Cobb, who is 3-0 in his last 3 starts and an ERA of 1.16. Finished 4th in the American League in earned run average this year. He's all set for the Indians. Cleveland will counter with Danny Salivar. He's the probable right-hander for the Indians. 23-year-old right-hander who's made just 10 career starts in the major leagues.
Big arm, though. Got good stuff. And it took an extra day, guys, a day beyond the regular season, but the last team finally gets to celebrate. Pop some champagne.
And the road trip continues.
Yes.
In a joyful way. Even if you've run out of certain garments to finish your road trip, it continues, and they're going to stay the night and enjoy the moment and get ready for a hot Cleveland team and a crowd that's been waiting as well to get playoff baseball back.
Right.
Now the Indians won 10 straight games to finish the season. Waiting to hear from David Price as soon as we can get him. David Aldridge is down there. Tampa Bay Rays chanting one more game. That's been the mantra. And they return to the postseason for the 4th time in the last 6 years. David Price, one of the best moments of his career. You think about tiebreakers and complete games. Al Leiter threw a shutout pitching for the Mets against Cincinnati back in '99. Randy Johnson did it in '95. Take it back to 1980. It was Joe Niekro for the Astros. And then Gene Bearden of the Indians back in '48, the year they won the World Series. David Price, the first to do it since '99, and it looks like David Price is ready to talk. We'll send it down to David.
David, you had a 1-7 record. They had a 5.57 ERA against you. This is the team that's knocked you out of the playoffs the last 2 years. What changed for you on the mound tonight against these guys?
My last start against these guys, I beat them as well. So I think that kind of gets lost in it, and just getting that first game out of the way. You know, that first one against a team that you've never beat, it's huge. So. Last time on this mound, I beat those guys, you know, along with my team here, and we did it again tonight, and it's pretty special.
Getting those 2 pickoffs early, how did that slow you down, and then maybe slow them down on the base paths?
I mean, when you can get outs without throwing pitches, that's always huge. You know, if I don't get those 2 outs on the pickoff moves, and I mean, just say I just get the next guys out. You know, it still causes me to throw at least 10 more pitches, and I'm probably not out there for the 9th inning, and you know, that was big. You know, something Dave Martinez came and talked to me tonight or today whenever I was getting loose on the treadmill. You know, just watch those guys, watch for them leaning, and it worked.
We thought Peralta was coming in the 8th, Rodney for the 9th. Did you do some lobbying to Joe, say I got some stuff left?
No, I think he just let me go, and I appreciate it.
Well, you knocked the Yankees out of the playoff hunt. You've knocked the Rangers out of the playoff hunt. Your team's in the playoffs going up against the Indians. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, back to you, Brian.
All right, thanks, David. True ace, David Price. And leaving them sad here in Texas. Rangers are out, Rays are in. And the final totals, Tampa Bay with 5 runs on 7 hits. Had a big night from Evan Longoria, who had 3 hits. A triple away from the cycle, had a 2-run homer in the 3rd, and he was on base 4 times tonight. Got a pinch hit RBI double by David DeJesus. Price the winner. Martin Perez takes the loss. And the Rays, John, are headed back to the postseason, and the way their starting pitching is lined up, they're a dangerous ball club.
They are, and they never cease to amaze me with Joe Madden and his loose activity of what these guys just get after it, and they enjoy playing. They're not fazed by anything. This was a really good game, a game that they could have let get away. Is thinking as much as they were in control. David Price, every time he had a chance to put an end to an inning and come up with a 0, he did.
Alex Cobb got hit in the head with a line drive and came back strong after the disabled list. Cobb went 3-0 in his 3 starts after he came back from the DL with a 1.16 ERA. So he's going to be a force against Cleveland, too.
All right, let's kick it back to David Aldridge. He's with Evan Longoria.
Evan, I know this was not a playoff game, but you certainly played like it was a playoff game. You had a huge night tonight.
Shoot, if I play like that during the playoffs, we might have some pretty good success. But the atmosphere in here was electric, like it always is, and this is such a tough place to play. And so I think we understood, and it was kind of fitting to have to go through these guys to get to the postseason, seeing as we've had some heartbreaks here in the past. And so hats off to those guys. They had a great year, and they made it tough for us. But this is something that we should definitely savor.
What were you looking for when you took Perez out?
Just a fastball. I mean, in limited experience against him and just being able to watch some of the video, he liked his fastball. Today he was commanding his off-speed stuff pretty well, but lucky enough to get one there.
Well, you guys have been on the road for a while, but I think you like staying on the road, huh?
Yeah, I think these next couple games are the next game. It's a lot different when you're in the postseason, and like I said, this is something that as a team we'll all savor. I mean, you don't get a chance to go to the postseason every year, and we've been fortunate, so we're really going to enjoy this.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Back to you, Brian.
All right, David, thanks. Thanks to Evan Longoria. And the Stars delivered tonight for the Tampa Bay Rays. Longoria with 3 hits and a walk, including a homer, and David Price goes the distance. Final score today, the Rays beat the Rangers 5-2 in this tiebreaker, headed to Cleveland next. That'll be on Wednesday. The postseason on TBS starts tomorrow. TBS, your exclusive home for the 2013 Wild Card games, NL and AL Division Series, and the National League Championship Series. The Rays win 9 of their last 11. They're moving on. After a break, we'll send you to Keith Olbermann in our Atlanta studio. Tampa Bay a winner tonight.